Hey guys, what is going on? Ephemeros here. So, so it is time for King K. Rool. Okay, so you guys have been, absolutely hyping me about this guy and the video. Also, a nearly 2-hour video from Designing 4 is absolutely that's crazy. You know his what's that called? You know his like production quality. And three more. Let's see the channels. Designing for Amalia Solaris, DK Vine, and Kong Compendium. That's cool. Always fun when you have people to collab with, and you get the idea. Uh, okay. You know, without further ado, also before that actually, I am planning to potentially make a new intro, and I actually wanted to view a video with you guys. And it's nothing crazy. It's just it's more in the creative-ish like art side because well, I am kind of a hobbyist at pixel art, but um, honestly, mate, I haven't drawn nothing in a while. Like, sure, I regularly draw my thumbnails, and each individual thumbnail I make, this I try my best to make it unique from the rest. But you know, because I can feel as if like, oh, okay, I gotta do this, but and sure, it does feel like that sometimes. Well, but like, okay, bro, I gotta post anyway, right? But the main thing I wanted to do is that I want to actually, create something. And I'm glad I got an intro right now, but maybe, maybe I could make a cooler one. Maybe, right? Oh my god, it would be so cool to do like a little art stream or whatever. Just hang around with you guys. That would be fun. I don't know. We'll see. Well, then again, I do have a Discord already. It's still a skeleton of what it is. Okay, don't get excited. But yeah, after this week, I'll probably start working on it even more. So eventually, after that week, I could maybe start introducing a few people to it. But hey, enough of that. Let's actually get into this. Let me check the quality before we start. Oh my god! Let me check the call. Oh, some landed on my shoulder. Okay. Sure, 720 works. Can you guys hear it? Okay, my mic's fine. Let me just... Yup, this one, I don't know what happened here. This frustrated me so much. Capture this, bro. Because in my last video, I literally had to cut out like maybe a minute of footage. Like, not with my speech, right? But with the video itself, because like for some reason the fucking audio wouldn't record. As you can see, it didn't play any audio right there. There we go. Alright. Okay. Also, I remember when my mother had one of those. Apparently she said she had one. And wait, why is my screen off? Hold on, why is this is weird. Hold on. There we go. What the fuck was that? Apparently she did also used to do that, like blow in the cartridges and shit. I think. I don't know if I'm like hallucinating or no, you get the idea. Whatever. Let's see what the hype is about, bro. Also, apparently this is the villain fans refuse to let die. Designing for comeback. That's cool.
You are just an aspect of the world that wants to see it get worse in a way that is primal and not cognitive.
Represents what happens when we forget we are not the main characters in reality.
Nintendo's gonna assign K. Rool.
Oh my god.
The last time King K. Rool made a mainline Donkey Kong game appearance was 1999. There's been a whole new
What the fuck? Wait, I need to wait. Is my volume on full? I need to hear this more.
generation of games.
The music is a bit too loud.
My boy belongs to the past now, that's just how it is. I don't know if I'm ever gonna see him again.
I've been waiting a long time for
Oh
this
shit.
moment.
Also, wait, before that, my initial impression of King K. Rool is honestly, I'll be real, right? Aside from Bowser and King DDD's like iconic, nice looking like design, I'll be so real, bro. King K. Rool, like his design, right? Nothing about him. Like, I don't know the fucking guy. I haven't an idea of about this guy. Uh, and this is I hardly have ever seen him in my fucking life actually. Like aside from Bowser and King DDD, which I have seen occasionally, like before I actually got to know the characters in depth. But with King K. Rool, bro, his design, not really. I don't know. I wouldn't say it isn't cool, but it kind of looks ugly. No, that's just my opinion. Okay, this one looks pretty cool.
King K. Rool is the bad crocodile who steals Donkey Kong's bananas. That was all he was ever meant to be. A final boss patterned in Bowser's mold, who was such an afterthought
he
to
actually
Donkey
is.
Kong Country, they didn't even think of what the K stood for.
I think I just don't like when the scales that because he's kind of a croc, right? Is very like I don't know. I find it when the scales are like weirdly prominent
Or
and you can see it.
Keith, I guess? It hardly ended up that way.
What?
Think of what the K stood for. Keith, I guess?
What? Kremling. Keith? What the
It
fuck?
hardly ended up that way. Developers and fans glommed onto this character, pushing him further and further to the absolute heights of
Oh, come on.
difficulty and absurdity.
There we
The
go.
Crocodile Pirate King developed perhaps more rapidly and more grandly than any of his classic era contemporaries. And that's fantastic
Really?
in and of itself. But it's what he did after that truly sets him apart.
Okay.
King K. Rool's
Oh, to
story
me nice.
is one of the most unique in all of video
Oh shit, it's not
games,
full screen.
and
Wait.
one of the hardest to approach from the outside.
Okay.
A character who lived at large as one of the most celebrated villains from his company, relegated to irrelevance and disdain, not through any fault of his own,
Really?
but the gaming landscape around him shifting.
Oh.
And what it meant
okay.
to claw his way back. For a
Damn.
fan base who hoped
No,
against
that's
hope
so cool.
that what they loved about their favorite series could be shared once again. This is the story of how fans changed the course of a multi-million-dollar franchise. How the spirit of what they cared for came to be embodied in a villain who was never made to be a star, yet shone so brightly. And how he pushed himself not just as a throwback to yesteryear, but an evolving menace of a character who embodied
So
the same
cool.
creed as his real-life crew. Never say die. This is the Comeback King's epitaph. This is the eternal legacy of King.
Again! A pirate with that fucking, I don't know. You know, can someone tell me how to pronounce his name? Because it Pyrr looks like the word pyre. But because of how it's spelled, I want to also pronounce it as peer. I don't know, but their narrating always so gas.
K. Rool.
I hope for your sake you're right this time.
What's with the swollen eye as well?
The origins of the Kremling crew are as slapdash as
Oh.
any by British developer Rare. The earliest known
Rareware.
crocodile is this biker dude from a follow-up to
Wait,
Rare.
what's Rareware? I've never heard of that company before. What the fuck?
Battletoads game
Okay.
Warhogs, where pretty much everything we know about it is what you're seeing on screen. Eventually,
Are you
the
serious?
concept of what if mean crocodiles was transferred to a point-and-click adventure concept entitled Johnny Blastoff and the Kremling Armada. Here, the name of the Kremling was
Cancelled.
established. A love of piracy was instilled within them, and the first images of their leadership emerged. A burly thug, Captain Crash, the wily opportunity seeker, Corporal Crizzle, and a leader figure sporting
Brother, what are these bodily proportions, bro? Look at this!
a massive frame ornamented
Oh
brace
my
Crizzle.
god. Nah, look at Corporal Crizzle, bro. What is that waistline? Jesus Christ, where's your organs, bro?
And a leader figure, sporting a massive frame, ornamented bracers, a flowing cape, and a prominent crown. Crud. This project would
Really?
also fall
Crud.
through,
Okay.
but when Rare got approval
I'm
from
assuming this is his base design. Or like it's, you know, where it all started. Why am I assuming? Just play the video, bro.
Nintendo to utilize one of their properties in a brand new cutting-edge video game, eventually choosing Donkey Kong, they had just the villain in mind to face off against the reimagined Prime Primate, Wario.
Oh my
But
god.
after seeing the pitch of Wario stealing Mario's time machine and using a future gun to try to
What's Wario? What's Wario and who's the like evil counterpart of Luigi? Oh, Waluigi, right? Is it? Am I right? What are they about? Well, like, what's their story?
take over Nintendo Land, Nintendo requested new villains take his place.
Okay.
Enough work had been done on the Kremling crew, they'd make for
Jesus
solid.
Christ! Oh my god, look at Crash! Oh my god! The like lower half proportions that are bodybuilder like, and then as you come more up and up into the upper body, you get these fucking Hulk proportions, bro. What the fuck?
Adaptation.
Wow.
In the dark of the night, the Kremlings descended upon Congo jungle, stealing Donkey Kong's banana hoard from under his nose, and easily dispatching the young simian set to guard the banana bounty, Diddy Kong. Upon waking up,
Yup.
a furious Donkey Kong promised that he
Why is Diddy Kong the only, like, why is he the only one guarding it?
would find his little buddy and hunt the Kremlings down through every corner of his island until every last banana was safe and accounted for. However,
Okay, King
the
Kong.
Kremlings had thoroughly plundered Donkey Kong Island.
Why do I call him King Kong? He's Donkey. Okay. My brain is not functioning, bro. You know, I actually freshened up for this video as well, so I'm locked in the entire 2 hours.
Its mines stripped of ore, its ancient temples uncovered with their image chiseled in stone,
Crazy.
and even a factory
Disrespectful,
built atop
bro.
the mountains of Gorilla Glacier, polluting the nearby waters, and noted as the Kremling's crowning achievement.
Wow.
The Kremlings representing this disharmony with nature.
Oh, they even go like people. What? Did they actually get like contact with like the actual Hal Russell? Is this, or is this just like I don't know, like his opinion that's already out there, like in a guidebook or something? DK Vine editor in chief. Ooh.
In comparison to the Kongs, and the Kongs live this.
What'd he say?
very-
Hold on.
The Kremlings representing this disharmony with nature in comparison to
Oh,
the Kongs.
yeah,
And the
yeah.
Kongs live this very, to use a boomer reference, Gilligan's Island lifestyle where everything is made of wood and almost out of the earth itself. where
Yeah, just like natural stuff that will eventually, you know, decay and whatever, and it's made out of, is not made out of like hyper produced things like, I don't know, metallic structures and whatnot. And well, I suppose plastic comes into play as well.
Kremlings impose their will and their manifest destiny upon any land they encroach on.
DK and Diddy will face a bunch of their generals, all of which are very easy and incredibly underwhelming boss encounters.
Crazy.
However, every time you beat one of these bosses, a ship draws closer on the world map. And
Whoa.
once Donkey Kong has liberated every inch of the island, the Kremling flagship, the Gangplank Galleon finally docks offshore.
Oh wow.
And upon its deck, hidden for the
Oh, that
entire
little transition was clean!
docks offshore. And upon its deck, hidden for the entire game and in the manual, DK comes face to face with his arch enemy.
King
Not
K. Rool.
understanding why they were keeping it a mystery just because I assumed he was going to be a more corpulent version of the other Kremlings. When he first dropped down, I remember saying to my friend who I was playing the game with, is that it?
K. Rool is certainly the biggest, fastest, and strongest member of his crew. With
Really?
gold-gilded belly, flowing
That's scary, bro. A dude that big being fast? Okay.
cape and pronounced crown, he's putting on as many airs as he can to show his absolute regality, and is one of the few bosses that DK
Oh, yeah.
Diddy can't instantly jump on and beat up.
I think the DKC fight is like.
Oh, it's
perfect.
her! Oh, video essayist and streamer. Dude, I always have, like, people who make video essays, bro. I try my best to make one because other than the fact I love yapping, you know, I want to get my points across without all these improvised us and whatever what might have you, right? But yeah, always appreciate video essays, bro. That's super cool.
He's throwing his crown at you, which is kind of silly, but
Yeah.
it's so difficult that it's like, while this is really funny and goofy, it's still kind of terrifying. You kind of got those like, oh gosh, one wrong move and I'm toast and I gotta restart the whole fight jitters.
It's very clearly
True, you can make of it, bro. There's several instances like that. Like a good example, if you want something like that's genuinely silly, like actually absolutely nonsense, right? But it's terrifying if you're taking the fight seriously. Is like, you know, one of those fucking Terraria modes that just have a random boss at whatever chance, right, to just spawn in and then they're nearly fucking unkillable.
a giant spike right at the end of the game in terms of difficulty. He is so much harder than any of the other world bosses before him. Every other character in that game has either one
That's good. Yeah, shock the player.
action, or if you're a boss, maybe you have two actions. And K. Rool has the hat throw, he's got a big bounce, he's got so many little tricks. If you've played through the game enough times, you'll see those little things that get you to start predicting what's going to come next. But nothing in the game besides K. Rool really asks you to do that.
Yeah.
I think it's a legitimate design practice, learning what the boss is about to do and where they're going to put a hitbox on the screen so I can get out of the way. And K. Rool is that kind of boss in a game that is not that kind of game.
It starts with a lot of like
Kind of
frenzy,
insane.
but it builds into something that's very intense. And that's because King K. Rool, for all of his quirky, deranged charm, has this layer of malice about him.
But managed to get through, and after a combined 6 hits, the credits start to roll.
That's probably like 6 or 7. I wasn't a bit avid reader.
The number. That number's Mason. I'm kidding.
I was playing video games, and so he went, and instantly, bam.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! He just jumped on him. That even shocked me. What the fuck? That was fast.
I wasn't a bit avid reader. I was playing video games, and so he went, and instantly, bam, got me.
See that? That's crazy.
Video game credits didn't used to be in the standardized form we see today. Oftentimes, development teams would be hidden under cute pseudonyms to prevent other studios from poaching talent.
Wow,
Occasionally,
that's awesome.
No one would show up in the game's credits at all. Castlevania 1 famously starring Boris Karloff and the hero Simon Belmondo. K. Rool
Hilarious.
takes that simple feeling of safety after a particularly nasty phase and uses DKC's slapstick sensibilities before beating the player over the head with it. As simple as K. Rool crediting himself as supreme commander of the game is, and how funny it might be to imagine falling for it, dozens did, and immortalized the fight against K. Rool as one
Wait, no way. Let's read some of these.
did, and immortalized the fight against K. Rool as one.
Yeah, I got. It happened so fast. Put the controller down. I was about to run into the other room, tell my mom I finished the game. Then I look at the screen again. He's standing up, and then I'm dead. Oh my god! Is it because when you knock him down, um, I'm assuming two things happen, right? Either the credits roll and you get complacent, and boom. Or he gets down, and because he's finally down, you think, oh my god, okay, I can relax, I can chill a little bit. Then he gets, boom, right? I was 6 or around the time I first played DKC, and yes, it got me. I lowered my guard during the credit roll. Oh, okay, and King K. Rool plowed over me instantly. Oh, you poor sod. I'm so sorry. Even after seeing someone named Clubba in there, I got tricked by it. I had never heard of it, and I actually did put the game controller down and died because of it. While I was laughing at the joke, I was expecting at the obvious next level or true final fight for the game to make K. Rool get up and move around instantly. I was like, wait, what? So while I was expecting more game, I was not expecting King K. Rool to attack me and continue the fight. That's insane. I got because I didn't read LMAO. Happened so fast. Put the controller down. Oh yeah, I'll be right.
One they would never forget.
Crazy.
And after 3 more hits,
That's a good joke though. That's funny.
the Conqueror goes down for good. But this fight established a bunch about the crocodilian cutthroat. He's a pirate.
Oh yeah.
Plundering various isles for their
Through and through.
greatest treasure and leaving nothing in his wake. He's a boss that takes up the entirety of his arena, leaving precious little safe space for you to hide. He's quite a bit tougher than any boss before him. in
Yeah,
both
yeah, seems like
durability
it.
And how much is required to take him out.
He also requires you to read a lot more than the from how fast his movements are, and you get old control systems which are a little, I won't say like because I don't want to discredit and say shit like, oh, the older game controls were janky. Like, yeah, no shit, of course they were. Technology back then was a little bit more limited, of course. Gotta cut him some slack, yeah. But yeah, so reading would be quite difficult, right? You could do it, but it was quite
And
difficult.
ultimately, he's pretty funny, filled with personality, self-assuredness, and a comedic twinge combined with his intimidating stature to
Oh, yeah.
separate him from the other lumbering beasts rounding off games.
Yeah.
I can almost recognize the original iteration of King K.
I like that King K. Rool is immediately making a difference. Because I want to separate these like big bads, right? You go Eggman so far. We know bro. You go Bowser. We know the guy, amazing, very prideful, contests you in anything, whatever. That's why he becomes a flexible character, and so is Eggman. He's quite flexible as a character as well. Boy, what are you doing, bro? Sorry, my cat is just playing with a Q-tip. Stop it. Listen, what else? We got King DDD, which is he's very carries himself in a certain egotistic but humble manner, which I like. I like it. But with King K. Rool, you're getting a lot more of the goofy. You're getting a lot more of the goofball side, right? And I like
Rool
that.
is kind of a sarcastic take on what you think a video game boss is.
Yeah,
in
yeah, exactly.
1994. If that was the intention, they pivoted and they made him into something that I think far surpassed even what they had initially conceived.
Donkey Kong Country would go on to sell, not too bad. Third
Wow.
highest selling game on the console, turned the tide of the console war against Sega in North America.
9.3! 9.3 mil! Oh my god! That's a lot! Oh my god!
Okay. And as K. Rool and the Kremling crew proved to be memorable foes that a lot of the dev team was fond of for their threatening, yet bumbling appearances,
Yes!
they were set up for some quick follow-ups. Before a proper sequel to Donkey Kong Country was
Claptrap.
made, a mini-sequel was developed to give the franchise some presence on the
Oh god! Well, these are pretty cool bananas! God, this is such an old meme. Dude, I feel so fucking old, bro. Oh my god.
Game Boy.
The plot of Donkey Kong Land is a metatextual breakdown into madness. Donkey Kong Land is the only handheld counterpart to a console game that has the characters debating about whether or not they can have a successful adventure on less powerful hardware. These are characters who know they are video game heroes. Cranky Kong calls up K. Rool and says, hey, do you want to do it again? I'm giving you permission. You can do it again. I have a bet with Donkey Kong that he can't do it on the Game Boy.
Fuck?
So here's your shot. It's almost like it's Rare poking fun at the already well-established conventions of video games. And that's why it works so well.
Eventually, K. Rool is confronted, living it up in Big Ape City. And...
Wait.
Little, hi, little guy.
Wait, what? Wait. I want to read that.
Living it up in Big Ape City.
The place where Mario was stated to have fought the original Donkey Kong. Oh, wow. Okay, probably not anymore, though.
And... oh, he's so little. Hi, little guy.
Is that just a
This little
statue?
adventure would serve as a precursor for what's to come. Now, you would see the true terror and force that the Kremling crew could provide.
Show me the power, bro. Usually what I like about these villains is that, like, of course, a big bad needs a big bad weapon, big bad army, whatever might have you, right? Especially, the few kings we've seen so far. Whereas with King DDD and Bowser, they had armies, robot. Oh, not robot. Eggman had robots, and this mechanical genius. Like, sure, that gave him an army as well. He had a whole armada of like. Robots, and as for like King K. Rool, like he this time it's not an army, no whatever robot fucking legion he had a crew, maybe very pirate like yard.
I've kidnapped that lumbering fool Donkey Kong, and you
Wow,
will
really?
never see him again.
What the fuck?
Consumed by thoughts of revenge, the now Captain K. Rool took a bounty far greater than any horde. Donkey Kong himself.
Whoa!
Holding the Big Ape ransom in exchange for the banana horde the Kongs worked so hard to reclaim, and their effective surrender.
Crazy. That's insane, bro.
Diddy Kong and his girlfriend Dixie would have to prove themselves true video game heroes, venturing onto enemy turf in a rescue mission to save their big buddy and defeat this cutthroat crew in an even more difficult adventure. Crocodile Isle wasn't nearly the island paradise that DK's self-shaped home was, and what were once mere signs of corruption and plunder were made fully manifest.
Oh,
In the
boy.
first game, you're defending your homeland.
Yeah,
You're in these
yeah.
lush jungles, you're in the mountains, and then you go to this wacky little Kremling Isle where everybody's just greasy and mean. I love the way that
You know what? That's a really short but accurate description that would honestly, personally makes you uncomfortable, bro. Everybody's just greasy and it just fucking sucks, and then, like, everyone's just fucking mean. That's a pretty accurate description, very apt.
wacky little Kremling Isle where everybody's just greasy and mean. I love the way that you start on the broken pirate ship and you work your way up.
It's just more extreme than Donkey Kong Island in every way. You usually don't get a lava area until the end of a video game. It's like, here, second world. That just tells you how hostile and mean this entire island is going to be.
Yeah,
Oh,
you're literally in like a volcanic region. What the fuck?
of toxic sludge and
Yep.
complete disregard
Just straight
for
awful.
nature and the environment. But there's also another side to it as well. There's the dark side of nature, the danger that nature
Still $600 for rent in this place, by the way. I don't know. I'm kidding. That was a bad joke. Anyway.
represents. I mean, there is beauty to be found in Crocodile Isle despite it all.
They got a theme park,
Yeah.
but it's not like
Sure.
there's evidence of them ruining their own
Eggman could do better, please.
homeland with factories and stuff.
Yeah.
They seem to have set those up elsewhere. It just seems like this place that is their homeland just never was very accommodating for them. They had to go out and essentially pillage to get what they needed.
Every level
Oh.
is more threatening, more dangerous, more
That's
difficult.
fair. That's fair. If yeah? It's like I don't know, man. Let's say humans actually did exist around the same time dinosaurs did. We would have very harsh lives. And maybe we would have evolved differently because of that, because holy shit. What the fuck? Why is the audio delaying?
Diddy has faced before. You slowly break through the scaly scallywags. Dixie and her boyfriend to climb all the way to the top of K. Rool's keep, ready to rescue the big ape. And the moment they arrive,
Ah!
K. Rool pulls the big lug up right before their eyes.
Are you serious?
Sorry, idiots. I have an airship now. Go through a whole nother
When? When? Oh my god, man. I thought this ship was crazy and now he just pulled the Monster Hunter on us.
world before you can
Great.
close out the game. And while
Like a fucking airship, man.
that whole nother world ends up just being one level before the boss fight, well, if you just take a look at Wrinkly Kong's helpful advice,
Wrinkly Kong, what a name.
This time there can be no mistakes.
K. Rool's second duel opens with him smacking Donkey Kong around like a piñata before
Holy.
shooting him with a giant gun
Damn!
3 times. This blunderbuss is everything that the boss fight revolves around. K. Rool skating around with it like a jet engine,
Oh
shooting
my
out
God.
cannonballs, and even using it as an oversized vacuum to get a Kong and Commander
That's
range
bullshit.
and knocking them right out of the fight. Captain K. Rool retains a lot from his original fight. It takes 9 total hits to bring him down, and the method
Okay.
of harming him stays consistent throughout the entire battle. The issue is, he's gonna do everything possible in order to make it as difficult as can be.
Of
getting
course.
The way that like Donkey Kong is like tied up, the way everybody's freaking out, he's not just like throwing his crown at you, he is shooting a gun at you. It's absolutely crazy, and I did feel scared, but also like I'm giggling at the same time. It's just he's
Well, yeah, because it's fucking silly, bro. It's got this blunderbuss shooting these fucking cannonballs, these big ass, these big ass like 5-pound iron balls at fucking Diddy Kong, bro.
such a funny and intimidating character.
Yeah, that's
at
what
the
I'm
exact same
saying.
time.
Phase 1 involves the captain shooting out spiked cannonballs, limiting the amount of space you have to jump over him.
Oh,
With the
wow,
added
okay.
Kicker that every time you jam the Croc's blaster, the backfire hurls the cannonball right back out at you.
Okay,
giving
that's
the
good.
captain an accidental measure of retaliation every time he takes a shot.
Wow.
But once he reaches the second phase, K. Rool decides it's much more efficient to simply shoot you in the face. But rather than
Yeah?
just do that again, but more, K. Rool changes his patterns for his next hits.
Wow,
The second involves
okay.
bouncing balls, all with different jump arcs, and the third in a weird knuckleball-like spiral seen nowhere else.
Ugh.
But say you get through that, okay, K. Rool sees you're getting used to his tricks, so he's going to shoot you with magic smoke that freezes you in place
What the
as he
fuck?
slowly crawls his way over. And then he turns invisible for some reason.
Okay.
Buccaneer boss then follows it up with a super slowing gas cloud before finally firing off some control reversing gas and teleporting all around so you get sucked right into his cannon. He even changed
Dude, this is amazing because it's depicting him so well, and it's super grounded in his character roots and how, oh my god, these guys are pirates. They're little scoundrel, they're little scallywags, right? And how, you know, these guys. Well, I was gonna say little guys, hardly. And how these guys are, well, yar pirates. They're very tricky and will use underhanded tactics, like literally shooting smoke out of a gun and like going invisible. Fair. It's fair game, man.
Changes up the timing of his final shot to make it extra likely that you'll have won the fight, but choke at the very last second to a literal stray bullet.
That's
Captain
crazy.
K. Rool is a full-on evolution of his kingly debut.
Yeah.
A pattern-based marathon, each hit bringing about a new challenge expected to mess a player up before they move on and trip over their tail again.
You know, this isn't just Big Boss hits you hard
Yes.
weapon. It's K. Rool killed me because what do you mean these clouds made me run directly into the blunderbuss? The fact that he has so many kind of gotcha tricks and
Yes.
no two gotcha tricks are the same, I think really stands the test of time and resonates for a lot of people.
I love it as well because it's already again it's really playing with the it's really playing into his pirate. Well, because he's been depicted and it's been stated to be, well, pirate-ish. They called it a crew, bro. That, yeah, you get the idea. But like the fact he's using a blunderbuss, he's shooting all these crazy fucking patterns. I mean, anything is up for grabs at that point. So you could really get creative with this, other than Big Boss hit hard, Big Boss big damage, Big O.
And when he goes down and gives Diddy a Krem coin as a reward, he tries to get up again during the monkey's victory dance.
Okay, buddy.
Unfortunately, he failed to notice the 800-pound gorilla in the room who freed himself and gets smashed right out of his airship. And falls down his entire island.
Crazy.
And gets eaten by sharks.
What the fuck? What the fuck?
But the captain's story doesn't end in Davy Jones' locker. Throughout the game, Diddy and Dixie can find bonus barrels, and at each one's end is one of K. Rool's self-styled Krem coins. These can be paid to Clubba, a burly gatekeeper defending a barrel made of gold. The underground Kremling Lost World.
Now
Whoa.
hear this, landlubbers. Me name is Clubba, and across me bridge is gonna cost you many pieces of eight.
But the Kremling crew isn't entirely loyal to their king.
Oh,
K. Rool
really?
is a very charismatic
This is different.
leader, but a lot of his control is based on fear and strength.
Clump.
Okay, so it's like kind of chimpanzee-like.
Cannon. Crusha becomes Cruncha. Critters become clumps. That just shows not only are they willing to go along with K. Rool's delusions, maybe, but also the fact that Kremlings are very malleable.
I really can't help but wonder if they're really going through with this because they really have a passion for that, or if they're just doing it because they're scared and they're just listening to a madman.
Give Clubba enough.
I mean, if you're super powerful and could literally probably solo the entire island due to your strength, speed, and size, I think that's enough. I think it might be enough.
Doubloons proving yourself worthy, and he'll let the so-called mortal enemies of the Kremlings through to their most holy sanctum.
Splice me, main brace, it's the monkeys. Captain K. Rool treats us rotten. I hope ye scupper his plans.
And after scouring every inch of Crocodile Isle, conquering the Lost World entirely, K. Rool clawed his way out of the ocean to recover.
Wow, I knew it. Something in my head told me, like, when he was getting eaten by sharks, I was like, he's not dead. He's not whatever. Right? That's not the end of him. He's King K. Rool, man. Again, unless it's explicitly stated. Oh my god. Not stated, but I mean, like, unless he's, like, jailed, like, actually, or whatever. Or even that he could escape. It's a big bad, bro. They're not going down that way. Come on.
Still waterlogged from his struggle to survive, he sees you at the crocodile core of his empire, and still weakened, fights with everything he's got. He's only got one hit point, but he's gonna make it count, firing his gun off 57 times before he tosses out a cannonball you can hit him back with. And after shooting out
Jesus.
the trickiest patterns he can possibly offer, K. Rool's backfire shoots him directly into the Kremling source.
What?
A massive pool of
This is troublesome. Is this gonna empower him?
spiraling energy in the center of the aisle, and his crew's lack of faith in him comes back to bite them.
Just that image of DK, Diddy, and Dixie just sitting there in silence, sort of holding each other.
Oh my god. Wait. This music. I remember this music. I used to fall asleep. Like, I think, I don't know if it was 2 years ago or something. But it was this Japanese whatever. You know the, like, a little sky thing on the screen with a bunch of vines entangling the screen, coming across the screen, and that's all blocking the view, but you can still see the sky a little bit. And then, like, this music is playing in the background. Other than that, I remember from, like, other Roblox games, like, I think Craft Wars or whatever it was, I
His
forgot.
crew's lack of faith in him comes back to bite them.
This music, nah, I'm about to cry. Stop. This nostalgia is crazy.
Of DK, Diddy, and Dixie just sitting there in silence, sort of holding each other, watching as their enemy's homeland just craters into the ocean.
Yeah.
Everything that the player had
Did that beam, I don't know if that beam empowered him or something, but yeah.
mastered and bonded with, completely gone.
Yes, those vines.
Everything that the player had
Those type of vines, yes.
mastered and bonded with, completely gone in a flash of light. K. Rool makes a raft to drift away on, laughing maniacally as his kingdom is reduced to nothing.
It just sort of becomes the moment that defines K. Rool as a character. This is the
Damn, he actually killed his people. Like basically, bro.
thing that he did or caused to happen. Going forward, he seems to have this increased focus on destruction. He sees something that he can destroy and that he can rot. He couldn't just let the Kongs go.
Fair. This music,
Peaceful
bro.
days
My god.
would once again reach DK Isle as K. Rool licked his wounds. Until one day, Diddy left his girlfriend a note saying that he and DK were looking for a new adventure, never to return in the days that followed.
Nice.
Dixie tracked her boyfriend and his himbo to the northern Kremisphere.
Why did you track them?
A
What?
new batch of Kremlings were hatching a scheme, beginning to mechanize not just the world around them, but wildlife and themselves. Augmenting
Whoa.
bees with buzzsaws and bazooka-wielding troops with eyes for sniping. They formed a new factory headquarters, the Isle of Mechanos. Levels now feature poison pipelines, derelict factories with trained snipers at the ready,
What
a
the
giant
fuck?
ripsaw chasing you through the
Oh
entire
my
level as they
God!
deforest as much as possible. But control may have gotten away from these Kremlings. The carbine owls with flame cannons are said to keep the factory workers on task at all times or
Wow.
else. And they've found a new leader to swear fealty to. A mechanized overseer named Chaos.
In the
Wow.
first appearance of the Kremlings, they
Dude.
are a military force. In DKC
It's literally AM.
2, you get to see where the Kremlings live, and compared to the Kong's natural setting, they are a much more capitalistic and industrial culture.
Yeah.
Really, though, it's DKC 3 where you start seeing engaging in mechanical ways of interfering with nature.
Dixie and the all-new
Yeah.
Kitty Kong would
Oh, no,
battle
the
through
spider!
Kremlin forces, making them
Okay, never mind. What is that spider, bro? Yikes.
retreat to the heart of their operation, Chaos Castle, where they would face off against the Metal Overlord and... Pay no attention to the croc behind the curtain. This...
Ooh. Oh.
So, K. Rool's plan...
Wait! Oh my god, my brain! My brain, bro. What you mean? What? Is he piloting it? Nah, my brain.
And... Pay no attention to the croc
I
behind the
started
curtain.
cribbling at it, bro.
No.
Ah, my god.
So,
my brain, bro.
K.
Holy
Rool's
fuck.
plan after blowing up his homeland is to go into hiding, become a mad scientist named Baron K. Rulenstein, seal away the land's guardian deity, the Banana Bird
That's insane.
Queen, with
Wait,
his
how the fuck?
Kremling magic that he has now, kidnap
Okay.
Donkey Kong and Diddy, put them inside of a giant robot, hypnotize them into thinking they're power-hungry madmen, and use their brainwaves to power the giant robot and control.
What the fuck? Oh yeah, no. You're like, I wouldn't say you're on Eggman level, but scheme-wise, sure, that's Eggman level.
The Kremling crew from the shadows of his castle lair so fearsome, even Link from Link's Awakening said, "Nah, I'm good," and left it alone. And when Dixie and Kitty beat his big bad bot, K. Rool reveals that he made his world-conquering robot out of his wife's finest pots and pans. She's gonna kill him!
What? Wait.
Robot out of his wife's finest pots and pans.
Bro, you have a wife and you're doing this! Oh my god. Dude, what is it? Oh my god. Dude has a wife and kid. Oh, I don't know about kids, right? I don't know if King K. Rool has any youth. Well, like, oh my god, man. Why am I yawning so much? I think it's just my fucking eyes for some reason.
She's gonna kill him!
Even as a little kid, I did not believe he actually had a wife.
That yet
was
fair! Fair!
To make himself look less pathetic, he was like, yeah, well, I'm married. I get to go bang my hot wife after this.
Donkey Kong Country 3 is a ludicrously silly story.
Yeah,
Leaning into
it
the
is.
most
It really is.
cartoonish tropes it possibly can, even tossing in a Scooby-Doo reference for good measure. After a strangely poignant note to end the last game on, this is an incredibly goofy time.
Yeah, this is awesome,
but
bro.
DKC3 was more of a fun
Dude, none of these games have failed to disappoint me. Like, so far what we've been shown, these are great.
road trip of a game. Development wasn't handled by the same internal team in Rare that made the first two games. This was a team that learned from the example of the prior two countries and wanted to go ham and have fun with it.
I
This
like
is where
that.
K. Rool's at his goofiest, especially where he's like, trying to fly with his hands. There
What
is
the
something
fuck?
scary and creepy about being in some sort of Frankenstein's lab. And
Yeah.
the older I get, the more I appreciate his characterization there, as like he's just like doing his little project in the garage. It's the British
Basically.
mundane, and it's such a vibe.
And the Baron still offers up the hardest boss fight in the entire game,
Of course.
choosing not to interact with the Kongs directly and instead use massive shock coils and a helicopter pack to limit their movement and options. The same sort of challenge is offered here. K. Rool is still making the world actively worse around him, but it's all played for
Of course.
laughs. Punctuated by the very end, where Dixie manages to free the Banana Bird Queen from her imprisonment.
Yes!
And they get revenge on the scaly scientist by dropping a giant egg on his head. Utterly
Crazy.
humiliated to the last. And those comedy chops would serve him.
That's so that's such a comedic ending, bro. I think it's like a big battle or like a I don't know, I don't know, something grandiose, something serious. But I like the fact that they're consistently taking the comedic route, and it's entertaining, bro.
Well, if he wanted so badly to emulate a Saturday morning cartoon villain, why not become one?
Lies and fibs, cheats and steals. My
What
treacherous
the
villainy
fuck?
makes me squeal. I never tip, I butt in line.
I never tip, I cut in line.
Never clean the dishes and it suits me fine. I'm so pleased, I'm such a sleaze. This bad guy thing's a breeze.
Produced by Nelvana,
Nah.
Donkey Kong Country, the TV show, was one of the first breakthroughs in 3D technology for a television market. And it's cute. It's a children's TV show about Donkey Kong trying to protect the legendary Crystal Coconut from the clutches of the Kremling army, led by the dastardly King K. Rool.
I'm interested in power. Supreme power. Unlimited power that will make me powerful.
There's an average of about 2 musical
There's something about those lines, bro, that they never say. That will make me powerful. Those fucking lines are just so great, man.
numbers per episode that are better than they should be.
Yeah.
DK is a bumbling sitcom.
Honestly, mate, most of the work is done by, or most of it comes from the voice actors that are voicing those type of shows. It's always so pleasant, bro. Like, because if you're a voice actor, you're breathing life into a character, right?
Bachelor, this animation will live in my head forever, but it very easily leaned into the more comedic elements that the franchise exhibited. And that was especially true of
Looking
its
barrels just bouncing.
K. Rool's depiction in the cartoon was always very reminiscent of a character like Scar or even Ratigan from The Great Mouse Detective. I like that he was kind of this pompous, theatrical villain.
Canadian
Yeah,
theater actor
actually.
Benedict Campbell provided the speaking and singing voice for Karul.
Amazing.
Giving the character an overly bougie, holier-than-thou affectation mixed in with an easily triggered and explosive temper.
You took a wrong turn the day you were born, you lunkhead piece of wasted brain mass!
Even though this is like a more silly portrayal, because it was, a cartoon kind of aimed for
Of course,
children,
yeah.
it still showed his, I guess, insanity. That he was kind of a crazy guy. He would come up with these crazy plans, and he would go through with them to the best of his ability.
Filled with joy and rapture at the very sight of your loneliness, Holly. 10 out of 10.
It's hilarious,
His
especially
laugh, bro. What did he say?
Holly. 10 out of 10.
You cannot pretend. I love this, bro. Why am I entertained by a fucking cartoon? Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. The cartoons I used to watch as a kid was Johnny Bravo, bro. And like I think Powerpuff Girls as well. Those are really cool.
hilarious, especially with his voice. His voice is just like
It's such a pleasant character to it's such a pleasant guy to have voicing King K. Rool. That's really cool.
awful British guy.
Yeah.
Thinks he's way too important.
This would be the defining portrayal of the contentious croc. Not for English-speaking territories necessarily, but abroad.
Growing up in Canada, the Donkey Kong Country cartoon was actually fairly popular here. When one of our children's television networks, Teletoon, launched, which was basically the Canadian equivalent to Cartoon Network, one of the shows they actually launched with was the Donkey Kong Country cartoon.
Donkey Kong Country was pushed heavily in France, the cartoon receiving its own block, La Planète de Donkey Kong, to air on public television. And the Japanese release saw a star-studded cast, including the likes of Koichi Yamadera, Megumi Hayashibara, Ryusei Nakao, and Banana Ice, who has only ever performed music and played Funky Kong and who staged...
Oh my god! Oh, look at these different voice actors. Is that right? Voice actors? Yeah.
name is Banana Ice. K. Rool incidentally
So cool.
was played by Jotaro Kujo from the OVA. Donkey
No way! I need to hear it. I need to hear an audio clip.
Kong Country, the children's TV series, was a phenomenon, sporting multiple merch lines, board games, a manga series, and a collectible card game based primarily on the show over any other source.
There was
Cool.
a narrative in place among Western fans that Donkey Kong Country or Super Donkey Kong didn't have a following in Japan, and we know that to be false because we can now communicate so readily with
Yeah,
the Japanese fan base. We all have the same basic understanding and
Yes.
appreciation of it.
K. Rool was growing very popular off his most bumbling portrayal, and was headed in that direction through the games. And he took notice.
It's
They used
amazing,
him as
bro.
a punchline. So he'd show him just how Karul, the Kremling commander, could be.
Soon Donkey Kong and his pretty little island.
Wait! Oh my god, yo, y'all gonna call me an absolute dunce for this. But I just realized King K. Rool. I thought it said rule because like, well, he's ruling over whatever. It's more like King Cruel. Is it not? Oh my god! Oh my god, okay.
Will be no more.
After losing his island home,
Yeah.
K. Rool only found it fitting to return the favor. Returning to kinghood, he tracked down the greatest, most powerful Kremling in the world, a towering behemoth capable of crushing an entire island in moments. But then K-Lumsy saw how cute all the little monkeys were and didn't wanna. So K-Rool had him imprisoned and brought along as a backup plan. So instead, the reptilian regent recruited a new chief technician, a weasel named Snide, and worked to rebuild Crocodile Isle from the ground up. And at its heart, K-Rool would construct a new weapon, the Blastomatic, a massive laser that could wipe an entire island off the map if fired. But K-Rool grew wary of Snide's knowledge, stole his engineer's blueprints, and banished him.
He seemed in DK64 like
He's very paranoid. He's very paranoid. I can see that.
Wit's end. Like, it's gone from we're kidnapping people and we're chopping down your trees and we're stealing your bananas to I'm aiming a nuke at your island.
Yeah. Glad he didn't overact.
And you better hope that there's a malfunction, which there is in the opening cutscene.
Well,
the king would have to wait for his revenge for his minions to repair. But that's more than fine. It was just a matter of time before Donkey Kong would feel his wrath
push-ups
for everything
taken
from him.
While you'll be busy looking for your precious golden bananas and flea-bitten friends, I'll be preparing my lizard-flavored surprise.
Amazing.
I've always viewed the plot of Donkey Kong 64 to almost be the culmination of everything the Donkey Kong Country trilogy set up. It entails you rescuing several Kongs. It has you retrieving some form of a banana horde. And it sees K-Rool coming back in this mechanical facsimile of Crocodile Isle.
Inspired by James Bond villain Blofeld, complete with Claptrap Lapcat, he is utterly self-confident, in control, and above all else, cruel. Every new stage is punctuated with K-Rool viewing the Kong's progress, looking forward to their failures, hoping they'll waste more time with these
He's an actual hater, bro.
For his laser to charge. And should the player ever quit out of the game? Should they ever let K-Rool win?
I think Rare may have liked bullying children, because you would quit the game and they're like, you haven't beaten it yet, so we're gonna show you Donkey Kong Isle getting nuked.
That's crazy! What the fuck? Are you serious?
Should they ever quit out of the game? Should they ever let K-Rool win?
I think Rare may have liked bullying children, because you would quit the game and they're like, you haven't beaten it yet, so we're gonna show you Donkey Kong Isle getting nuked.
Nah, that's absurd.
Like, it was terrifying.
Donkey Kong's blood.
Oh yeah, no. Oh my god. Brother, if I saw this, if I ever played this when I was a kid, I was like, no, my progress, what the fuck? I checked back real quick on that game. Oh my god.
Is on my hands, Mom. I can't do my math homework.
As the Kongs reclaim more and more of their family and horde, the king becomes more frustrated, more unhinged, threatening the life of a boss who failed him, and even following a Kremling attempting to escape his mad reign before snuffing out his hope, executing his minion with a massive claptrap.
Oh my god.
His maniacal majesty is at his most rotten in this game.
Oh yeah.
Only let down by his need to stay above all others and the constant incompetence of the exhausted and terrified Kremling crew. Heck, the Kremlings are so scared and overworked, they don't have time to prepare a late-game boss fight, so they make a giant cardboard cutout of K-Rool and equipped him with a laser gun and a really loud speaker for them to laugh into, and tried killing the Kongs with that.
What the fuck?
But ultimately, it's this self-reliance that costs him.
Oh my god, your workers are fucking... Dude, this guy is a shit... This is the first time he's actually a shit king. He's actually shit, bro.
Everything. Both K-Lumsy and Snide side with the Kongs after their prior employer's mistreatment, opening up new worlds for the Kongs to explore and awarding the Kongs golden bananas in exchange for blueprints for the old Blastomatic. Snide is especially a thorn in K. Rool's side, as when the Kongs finally do show up to his doorstep, K. Rool demands that they fire the big laser, even if it will wipe them all out too.
Bro.
Destroying Donkey Kong once and for all is more than worth a second destroying my own homeland. But for every one of Snide's blueprints that the Kongs were able to recover, the wily weasel will hack into the big cannon and delay its firing sequence.
But even when you get so many, you still have to do Hideout Helm with that timer right there on your screen, ticking down to your demise. And it doesn't matter if you have the minimum amount of minutes or the maximum amount of minutes. That, coupled with his laughter, as the timer is slowly going down and you're trying to work your way through the level, that is terrifying.
Yeah, no, that's pressure. That's actually pressure, yeah.
The moment you're about to confront the big croc, K. Rool flees into a tiny airship, only for the Kongs to free K. Lumsy and for him to swat his little alleged brother out of the sky by accidentally tripping over a rock. Humiliated, ousted, betrayed, and backed into a corner by his enemies, K. Rool is forced to accept that he isn't above it all and takes on the DK crew himself.
Wow,
If you let
actually.
him prop up his ego.
Dude, he's a straight up hater. This is the most hateful villain I've ever seen. Oh my god.
He'll give you a fight where everyone is praising his
Oh
name.
my god, this is King DD decoded. Minus the crowd, of course.
Surrounded by cheering fans, taking you on 5 versus 1 in a 10-round match, King Crusher K. Rool enters the ring to reclaim his dignity and the title of undisputed ruler of these islands.
It's always so funny at the juxtaposition of King K. Rool as a brutal, bloodthirsty maniac and King K. Rool as a funny little fella.
The battles are so fun. I love the little interstitial cutscenes of the two referee Kremlings who are always slamming the bell, so he gets saved by the bell every time and doesn't get knocked out.
That's insane.
He's been failed by science and he's been failed by his grand plans for revenge. He has nothing left to him except to just use his raw strength.
Yeah,
He's
basically.
here to prove that he's inherently better. And as always the case, falls to the power of teamwork and guile.
The K. Rool boss fight is still one of the best designed and conceived aspects of that game.
Throwing his
When they're
glove!
bringing in rare staffers. That's what Greg Mails contributed input on that boss fight. So I think some of his pedigree is definitely apparent.
DK takes to the turnbuckles of the ring, loading himself into barrel cannons and hitting the hedonist heavy when he's playing to the crowd. Diddy then follows it up, flying into the rafters and shooting out the ring's spotlights until 4 of them come crashing down on K. Rool's noggin. The last of these is so stubborn that the beastly boxer doesn't have time to remove it from his head, so he'll fight Lanky Kong by blindly running around the ring with a spotlight on his head and slip on banana peels Lanky sets up and—
Nah, this is so fucking comedic, bro. Oh my god. Holy shit.
break his butt.
Again, bro.
But his ass has been so thoroughly thrashed that spamming his ground pound leaves him in horrible pain, letting Tiny—
Who decided one of the phases needed to be Tiny Kong shrinking down into his shoe and fighting his toes?
And after that totally normal thing that happened, K. Rool tries to use his invisibility trick again, only for Chunky Kong to grow to giant size to meet K. Rool on his own level and finally deliver a knockout punch to the big bully. It is a complete and utter dressing down of the Kremling King. The stature he'd tried so hard to build up all—
What now, King K? What the fuck?
Game eroding as the Kongs take him and his ego apart. He even tries to get up and beat the Kongs after the fight's over.
Are you
but
serious?
Is distracted by the power of Hamana Hamana Awuga.
Oh my god! Whoa! Whoa! Oh, whoa!
Fails to notice
Whoa!
Funky Kong ride up with a bazooka that kicks his butt so hard K. Rool flies right out of the game. In one fell swoop, King K. Rool was re-established, made as threatening as possible, broken down, and reduced to his funniest, most pathetic state. a capstone of his entire
God
career
damn it, bro.
as Donkey Kong's villain in the most maximalist.
But you already lost so much like posture and stature as a villain, and you gonna chase after some humana. Come on, bro. Holy shit! I think this is the most actually the most the villain with the most losses ever, actually loser type losses.
Package possible. By this point,
That's
K. Rool
crazy.
wasn't just here to stay. He was Nintendo's second most prolific villain behind Bowser. The likes of Ganon and Ridley had long since been passed up by K. Rool's sheer density of appearances, and each one that wasn't a retelling of the same game but on Game Boy this time was a unique one that added more to the character, more fans, more kids cursing his name that they just couldn't beat him.
Between Donkey Kong Countries 1, 2, and 3, and spin-offs like Diddy Kong Racing, and smaller main series games like the Land Trilogy, and upcoming things like Donkey Kong Racing, there was an evolving and continue to be evolving Donkey Kong franchise that was something that was building out of Nintendo. It was one of their big, best-selling things. If you're interested in this character, you're interested in the world, this feels special. Kind of builds up a mythos about King K. Rool. He just has to be pushed toward even higher levels of absurdity.
Yes!
The future was bright as a new generation of Nintendo console entered the market.
Here we go,
K. Rool would gladly keep riding along as the eternal enemy of the beloved Donkey Kong franchise. And then everyone decided, actually, we hate Donkey Kong.
What?
So the Rare buyout, the 2002 purchase of Rare by Microsoft.
Way, bro.
If you were a fan of
God.
Donkey Kong Country, Diddy Kong Racing, Banjo-Kazooie, Conker, it represented almost a divorce. It was this fracturing of the fandom. Rare wanted the financial security of being owned outright by Nintendo. Nintendo did have a stake in Rare, but they didn't own them outright. And Nintendo was going through their own changes at the time, leadership changes in both Japan and Nintendo of America. And it was probably just absolutely the worst timing. I don't think anybody was at fault, but ultimately Nintendo declined to purchase Rare, and Rare opened themselves up to the next bidders, and there were several. EA at one point.
No!
Ultimately, they went with Microsoft for the newly minted Xbox platform. And all of a sudden,
I guess
Donkey Kong no longer had a studio, no longer had a developer to call home.
All of Rare's characters and locations made for the Donkey Kong and Star Fox franchises were turned over to the Big N, giving them the rights to K. Rool, the Kremlings, and this pig with a nipple ring that you didn't notice until now. The DK franchise was orphaned, and rapidly, its status
this is a huge shift.
Degraded among Nintendo fans.
That's definitely the time when perceptions and attitudes towards the franchise started to change.
Oh yeah,
In
for
fact,
sure.
In the years that followed the buyout, a lot of these same gaming magazines started retroactively claiming that, the Donkey Kong games were never great to begin with. They were just overrated, and people only liked them because of the graphics.
That's bias. That's bias, bro. They were really good games, and they looked like amazing. Like, if I was a kid, bro, and I played games like that, dude, it would have been an awesome memory. I was just playing Hot Wheels and I was playing Hot Wheels on the PlayStation Portable, bro.
A GameSpy review of Donkey Konga from the early aughts, excerpting here. Strangely enough, my biggest complaint about Donkey Konga isn't anything that has to do with that gameplay. Instead, it's the fact that Nintendo continues using Rare's horrible Donkey Kong character designs. I mean, seriously, this is a great game.
What?
Why am I being forced to look at Diddy Kong while I play it? Or frickin' King K. Rool? Awful.
Now, if you are a fan of Donkey Kong Country, and you are already dealing with the uncertainty of the future of your favorite series and the characters therein, and all of a sudden you now have to defend it among your fellow Nintendo fans. Well,
That's crazy. Nope. I would start isolating myself, bro. What the fuck? You know what? Even a game I actually wanted to visit recently apparently shut down in the year 2022. Or either that or 2024. I forgot what it was, what year it was. But like apparently the servers for it shut down. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like thing is like I used to play the game, right? And obviously I got bored of it eventually, got rid of the game. And I wanted the game back because after a few years I was like, wow, that was a really fun game. Let's do it again. Bro, like I can't, the servers are shut down. You can't play it anymore. I'm like, damn. And now you gotta argue with your fucking like obviously this isn't a server shutdown, right? But this is a massive shift in the game that people have a whole community around on. But yeah, it's a huge shift, and now you're gonna have to argue with your fellow Donkey Kong enjoys. It's just no.
that is quite the growing pain to have.
An alleged quote from Mario creator Shigeru Miyamoto was tossed around, sourced to a May 1995 issue of Electronic Gaming Monthly, stating, "Donkey Kong Country proves that players will put up with mediocre gameplay as long as the art is good."
Wow.
Donkey Kong as a franchise went from an all-star to overrated. Perhaps
Why?
most simply represented by this review of a Game Boy Advanced remake of Donkey
Why did people suddenly hate it? It's a like obviously we had like shittier graphics. Of course, again, you know the argument, cut them some slack. But like it looked like a solid game. What are they talking about now? What's with the sudden switch up?
Kong Country 3 by the UK's Nintendo official magazine. The appeal was always the graphics, be honest. Now the looks have faded, and you can see that she was never that interested in the first place. That.
What the fuck?
King K. Rool was hardly immune from the effects of everything around him turning rotten. His first playable appearance in Diddy Kong Pilot was taken away from him, being retooled into a banjo racing game. He appeared in Donkey Konga as a cameo in a whack-a-mole minigame and an icon in Konga 2. He was the main villain of the 2003 edition of Camp Hyrule, a web browser-based event for kids with a Nintendo account and nothing to do for a week in August. He appeared in the Game Boy Advance remakes of the country
no, he's falling off.
titles. Those are still good. They bomb him at the end of DKC2 now. Funky, that's a war crime.
Sorry, dude.
And he appeared as the villain of two handheld exclusive titles by Payon, DK King of Swing and DK Jungle Climber. These featured brand new plots by King K. Rool as he steals a bunch of medals and calls himself the Jungle Hero. And
I'm not liking it. I'm not liking it, bro.
then DK beats him in a climbing race, beats him up, he says this, and he was playable. Jungle Climber has the Kremling commander steal the legendary crystal bananas from Planet Plantain, using this awesome power to make his minions a little bigger and fuel some robots, and then make himself bigger. While it's nice to see Crud not entirely forgotten, these titles do very little story-wise.
Yes.
Other than introduce an alien banana people who talk in Banana Fana Faux Fana language and state that K. Rool hates bananas, actually. But most damning of all, Nintendo just did not seem to know what to do with Donkey Kong.
Nintendo was kind of putting it in a spin-off limbo for a while. It was either no games or spin-off games or Donkey Kong showing up in like a Mario game. Donkey Kong never really left as a character. He was always there.
Yeah, he's consistently present.
Remind you that he was an IP.
A lot of people who grew up during the GameCube era started to see Donkey Kong as not its own distinct brand, but just an appendage of Mario, just a Mario spin-off character.
The big DK platformer for Nintendo's GameCube was Donkey Kong Jungle Beat, a high-octane rhythm action game controlled entirely using the DK Bongos peripheral.
This is this brand new Nintendo team where they're getting experimental, they're getting wild.
Nice.
These are like hungry young developers.
Yes,
that are at the
amazing.
top of their game.
This is awesome. This is great.
And what's the first game that they want them to make? It's not Mario, it's Donkey Kong. They were trying. They were throwing everything out there for DK.
That's good. That's good. It's why I got interested in the when I saw the production of Monster Hunter 1. These are people experimenting with shit. Tried new things. What about this? Maybe we can put this mechanic here and you see how the players in our servers react to the new update or whatever. And then you get it, experimental shit is always nice because some developers, obviously, I have no say in this. I'm not a developer. I'm just a random guy who does pixel art as a hobby from time to time. But it happens a lot, and even sometimes unconsciously or subconsciously, you kind of build this fear of that makes you kind of rigid because of the fact that, well, it's whatever you made is working, maybe, and experimenting with it could cause your success to both fluctuate up and down, which will I will say confuse you to okay, is this working, is this not, and you get really nervous when, success is constantly fluctuating because you're experimenting with things. But yeah, it's good that, they're trying something, they're experimenting. This is great.
It's an innovative way to play a Donkey Kong game or even have a Donkey Kong game.
Yeah.
It wasn't really what people wanted at the time. And I think that led to the series just not being taken seriously.
Right before the game's release, director Yoshiaki Koizumi gave an interview to IGN, stating, "All of the characters outside of Donkey Kong and the banana are completely original. We don't really feel the past look of Donkey Kong was fresh enough for today. We really gave our new development team the chance to really create something unique and stylish. We didn't need a superfluous story for this, did we?"
Even if that smug sounding interview
Sure.
hadn't come out, I mean, there was just nothing for me there that really had nothing to do with Donkey Kong aside.
Yeah, honestly, mate. Sure. Okay, I guess. That's the best response I can give to that kind of interview. Okay, I guess. But yeah, story-wise, none of the characters are evolving. They've kind of become stagnant, and instead of characters, they've kind of become figurines. Do you get what I'm saying? It's almost because they've almost became lifeless as characters. Well, it's sure, it's a game, but it's kind of like Hot Wheels, the one I played. There's no story. It's a bunch of cars, have fun with the cars, unlock stuff. And yeah, obviously Kid Me was satisfied, but if you look any deeper, there's really nothing, there's not much.
From the fact that DK himself was in it, but none of the other familiar elements that I loved were in it at all.
Yep.
DK's cool, but I'm not going to feel obligated to play this game just
Yeah.
alone.
And that lack of
That's
curation
true.
would continue through DK's future. Super Smash Bros. Brawl would expand its roster to include Diddy Kong as a playable character, but would represent the DK series through stages based on Jungle Beat and the original arcade DK title. K. Rool himself would be represented only by a single song and a trophy that would claim that his brother, Captain K. Rool, was the boss of Donkey Kong Country 2.
What you say?
This culminated in the 2008 release of Mario Super Sluggers, the king only having made 4 new physical appearances in the 10 years since Donkey Kong 64. Having to introduce himself and the idea of Kremlings to players who would have no idea who he was.
That's sad.
But over this decade, Nintendo internally took notice of something. The best-selling titles for the Big Ape during that time were the handheld remakes of the 3 Donkey Kong Country games. Shigeru Miyamoto...
Dude, and it's like this wild thing I've seen, right? People not recognizing King K. Rool. There's a similar thing I've experienced recently, and it's fucking crazy. Not experienced as IRL. I've seen this like online. I don't know. It was kind of like a Cartoon Network edit, whereas this random ass funk edit, and it was pretty cool. But like, it started off with this clip of this kid, with these like these two like black guys, and they're eating like a cookie. I think they were having cookies or whatever it was. I forgot what the interview was about, right? But I think maybe they were asking the kids, like, how their childhood is now, because like obviously these dudes, like, compared to the kid, these dudes are like, well, I don't know, 20 plus years older than like this kid. So they were asking the kid, like, okay, what about like cartoon, like, and the kid was like, cartoon, what is that, like, what is that, where they like play ads? And I'm like, what the fuck, wait, no. Oh my god, the kid does not know cartoons. And here's the horrifying reality is that if there's one kid that doesn't know cartoons, there will probably be several more. And that's just that's I know the future is here. Obviously, we're living in the present. The future is constantly arriving, but like, oh my god, that's actually such a profound shift that I realized. It's so crazy, man. So probably players had the same effect, or like at least veterans who knew like who King K. Rool was, would probably be like, not freak out, right? Like, oh my god, people don't know the guy. Fuck.
Entirely by chance, mentioned that he'd like a revival of Donkey Kong Country, as it had been requested by very loyal North American fans. In 2010, styled after the difficulty and flow of classic platformers, Donkey Kong Country Returns was unveiled with thunderous enthusiasm.
Yes.
It was already getting out that Retro was doing
this. We need this. This is what we need.
Donkey Kong. And we began daring to dream again. So
yeah.
When we saw the trailer, there was obviously excitement and relief that it
of course.
And hearing very familiar music, seeing Donkey Kong swinging on a vine brought forth lots of emotions. And the biggest relief...
I'm getting goosebumps. Stop! I'm getting goosebumps, bro.
...was seeing Diddy Kong. After all of the psychodrama that Jungle Beat conjured in the fandom, I think a lot of us were satiated with the fact that Diddy was in the game.
Nintendo-partnered Retro Studios studied all of the countries, all of the lands beforehand, to make iterations and evolutions on their iconic barrel cannon and minecart sequences. And after 11 years away, King K.
Let's go!
So this is something that we actually talked about fairly early on with Miyamoto-san. And we were really, we're getting together and we're like, well, what are we going to do about King K. Rool? Is he coming back? And we thought about it and we said, well, does he really need to? Why don't we just come up with something completely new? And
No! Bro! Nah, I'm upset.
Time, make sure there are no crocodiles in there. And so
Nonsense. Absolutely bollocks.
I asked Retro to come up with some fresh new ideas, and that's when they came up with this new enemy concept of the Tiki.
Fans of DKC had gone through the classics, developed a new game, and once again, the Kremling crew just wasn't fresh enough.
No, bro.
I really enjoyed Donkey Kong Country Returns.
I'm saying, it looks like a well-developed game. Don't even get me twisted, bro. But like the feel. Where's the gang? Where's King K?
Wonderful 2D platformer, one of the finest ever made, and it is a worthy entry in the series.
True, I'll give him that.
Question how much of a conscious effort was made to leave so much of Donkey Kong Country, the series heritage itself, in the drawer.
From a Nintendo point of view, if they're looking at the history of Donkey Kong, I don't blame them for looking at their game Donkey Kong, which is them creating the character Donkey Kong, as the touch point rather than Country 1. Look for the bad guy in the games that we have and Donkey Kong himself is the bad guy, so don't do that. So
True.
make a new one. Like, I can
Fair.
imagine that being the thought process.
I
every
suppose.
time.
I
The
suppose.
fact that the only returning characters in Donkey Kong Country Returns are Donkey Kong, Diddy Kong, Cranky Kong, Rambi, and Squawks. 5 returning characters
5?
in a game that purports to be the return of the series.
Okay,
It
that's
felt odd.
what's the word? Underwhelming.
And now it's Tropical Freeze, and it was kind
That's super underwhelming. Freeze? What?
of like, well, still no Kremlings, but we got these
No.
Vikings this time. I was kind of coming to accept that Retro was just maybe
Was
never
just
going
abandoning
to use them.
King
Like,
K.
even
Rool.
though Returns and Tropical
No,
Freeze
man.
were great, and they were bringing
Dude, people loved the Kremlings. What the fuck? They were so cool. And they had a compelling way with how they lived. How, like, you know, they're super, like, they're hyper industrious to the point. Is that the right word? Industrious. Like, you know, they're super, I don't know, like, benefiting for themselves and nothing else and then disregarding nature. Like kind of like that. And that was that was pretty compelling for, like, a villain, right?
at least some respect back to the series. It was still a rough time to be a fan of Rare's Donkey Kong games specifically.
I
didn't
suppose,
feel
yeah.
like we weren't going to see K. Rool again, really until Tropical Freeze, especially with the way they debuted Lord Frederick with a silhouette. And they're like, who could this be? It's like, well, it's a big fat silhouette, and you're not telling me who it is. So why would
Also, wow, Mitchell Wolf is a game designer. Awesome.
I assume it's just some random guy I don't know? And
Yep.
when that ended up not being K. Rool, it really felt like, oh, okay, for whatever reason, this character is a problem.
This aesthetic, these new worlds and characters
felt off,
silently
man.
became what DK was all about. Representing DK's world in Mario Kart stages, Mario Sports spin-offs,
I
even
don't like
drafts of
this.
Universal Studios theme park based on Donkey Kong were modeled after Return's iconography and characters. Donkey Kong was back.
It's almost like they kind of just shut out King K. Rool, even though he really was one of the, like, original, on the original cast. What is it? What is going on? Okay, that's not my mic. That's my mouse, I suppose. It's just like they almost just, like, shut out, you know, King K. Rool.
But he
What the
hadn't
fuck?
just moved on from his old foe. He didn't even acknowledge him.
Yeah, that's crazy.
By the time of Super Smash
Man,
Bros. For 3DS and Wii U's
that
release in
sucks.
2014,
There must have been a few bad years if like King K. Rool was your favorite guy, right? As like a sort of veteran with this like Nintendo game, yeah, it would have had to be a few sucky years if he was your favorite man, because he did not show up for time.
there wasn't
Wow,
much hope
bro.
for any more outstanding Donkey Kong content. A
Yeah.
stage based on returns, perhaps. Oh, yep, there we go. And
Yep.
oh, hey, there's a critter in the side mode. That's really nice to see. But no new fighters, new environments beyond a jungle. Not even a cameo-based assist trophy were offered for the 4th Smash Brothers game.
I'd noticed there's franchises that the Smash developers like to create stuff for, and then there's Donkey Kong.
But then, something unusual happened.
Whoa.
On April 1st, 2015, Nintendo President Satoru Iwata announced that a ballot would be posted on the Smash
What's a ballot? What's that?
Brothers website, asking fans which characters they would like to see added to
No
the
way.
crossover fighting game. As a company, Nintendo played its cards very close to its chest.
Yes, this is good.
So having an open opportunity to suggest
Yeah,
who to
yeah.
add to
That's actually true. Yeah, they're really also with copyright, man. They're talk about an absolute bloodhound.
one of their largest franchises was unprecedented for
Yeah.
and it's here where the
Please.
Kremling campaign truly
Come on!
began.
We need him back.
4, it releases in late 2014. At that point, it was known that he was not going to be on that roster. I'd launched the Kremling campaigner Twitter
No way, this is him. Oh, he was the whoa, bro is a historical figure. Nah, this is crazy. This is awesome, bro.
account before there was
Spend over a decade trying to bring back King K. Mission accomplished. It's enough to make a grown man cry. Oh my god, bro.
Acknowledged that there would be DLC in the game, putting out a plea of desperation of like.
Oh my god, I'm
somebody
tearing up a
Nintendo
little bit, bro.
treat
I'm tearing up a little bit. This is so cool. Like, I'm not tearing up because like it's emotional, but I'm tearing up because it's such a like an awesome valiant effort. You know?
that are just lurking on here hear me. We sure would love to have this great character in the game. And,
Yeah, he was
at
cool.
that point, thinking his future might just hinge on that happening. Every single time we would have.
I did eventually realize when they started introducing the other games. Once I got introduced to King K. Rool, it felt empty, man. Like it really quickly felt empty when King K. Rool wasn't there. Like where's the main big bad guy? You know what I'm saying?
Supporter come into that thread. Me and multiple other people would jump at the chance to post the
Yes.
Donkey Kong Country cartoon song "One of Us."
Cause you're one of us, one of us. The meeting brings daily scene. Can't you see you're one of us?
And in that OP, I would put the cutthroat list. I think it grew to somewhere in the
Cutthroats! Oh my days!
part of 1,200 people over time.
Wow!
Eric,
1,200.
Eric and I got to be friends through shared forum posting on K. Rool's behalf. And then the Smash Ballot fell into our laps, and
Oh yeah, you guys woulda probably jumped at it, didn't you?
of having built-in infrastructure to get the good word out there about the game.
K. Rool was often dismissed in Smash speculation as an irrelevant character. Someone who hadn't made
Nonsense.
an appearance period in like 7 years to that point, and hadn't been the final boss of a mainline game in 15. But fans weren't about to let their favorite baddie roll over and die. He was merely an expert at playing dead.
I saw it less as an opportunity to get more
That is true.
votes in his name and more to get more diverse arguments in his favor directly to Nintendo.
K. Rool always stood out to me as unique in that he would be the only heavyweight that could use multiple projectiles.
Yeah.
The boomerang toss and the cannonballs. And of course, the poor.
And it fits because he's a pirate. He's pulling shit out of his ass. That's what pirates do. They're tricky. They're cunning. Doesn't matter how big they are, how bad looking, like King K. Rool.
Representation in Smash.
As did sort of this idea of him as a cohesive personality, which I don't think is necessarily something that was known to people outside of the Donkey Kong fan base at the time. If your last word on the character is some random IGN article you never would appreciate,
Yeah.
that we certainly knew, and we had a direct line to Nintendo to say so, and we damn well were going to take that opportunity.
Of course.
From the television show spread around like wildfire.
Let's
over the
go.
top performances endearing those who'd never gotten to experience the character before. Memories of all the fights against the Kremling King and all the cool things he could bring into a fighting game. All buoyed up by Donkey Kong himself making a big recovery. The leader of the bunch had been revisited after the country returned. Memes of his coconut gun firing in spurts, spreading far more than they were decried as the worst music ever in a video.
Yeah, I've seen this. I've seen a few memes about this before, like back then. It's such an old meme.
Video game a decade earlier. And
Wait, I actually want to read that. I actually want to read that. That was the DK rap most certainly comes to mind. How on earth did we go from Donkey Kong Country to this? It's truly amazing. The DK rap takes the cake for the longest pile of literary crap in the industry. Even if it is only number 7 in the list, the DK rap takes the cake as the only song in history that actually sounds like vomit. Priceless. DK rap, but every noun is a coconut gun. What the fuck?
First music ever in a video game a decade earlier. And actually, Miyamoto never hated them. That quote was a thing that didn't exist. And that Koizumi interview about DK characters not being fresh enough? Mistranslated.
What the fuck? I guess, bro. I guess. I mean, I've dipped myself a little bit in the Monster Hunter community before. One thing is pretty prevalent, and it's that there are a few mishaps or whatever that can happen with like Japanese to English transition of the translations, have like misfiring a few words or whatever and mistranslating them. So yeah, okay, I can see that. Oh, my screen.
Situation was one massive misunderstanding.
I was successfully gaslit that like K. Rool wasn't that big of a deal, that he was just like Wart from Super Mario Bros. 2, and I was a victim of the internet. I was a young mind radicalized to believing that the clocks didn't matter that much.
In my circle of friends, I knew we all liked K. Rool, but there was this feeling that, like, look, the rare stuff you like, it has a fan base. There was a moment in time it was really beloved. It's not the main thing people like anymore.
It's not.
Turns out it actually was.
I think that just kind of tells
He's
you
really
the
memorable,
narrative
bro.
Can take hold, and the people who disagree with it might feel too disempowered to speak up, because then all of a sudden the narrative was like totally reversing polarities, and it's like now I'm seeing all these people talking about how good Donkey Kong Country is and how we should get its main villain into Smash because he was so cool and awesome, and it's like, yeah, okay, I've been like, what? Like, this is how I felt my whole life, but where were you people?
In all tallies measured by fans, K. Rool
Yeah, that happens. The feeling of I've felt that my entire life. Where were you people? Bro, listen, I've been there. I've been there.
He had a real chance of not just settling it in Smash, but making a statement to Nintendo directly that Donkey Kong fans were all still here.
We want King K.
To celebrate what had left them so long ago.
Come on.
And in return for their support, on July 30th, 2015, they skinned him and made him a hat for your Mii.
You fucking motherfucker. No, I hate this. Do you think this is funny? You think this is jokes? Nintendo got jokes, bro. Nah, I'm actually mad. Bro, please.
I woke up and I saw like the maximum number of notifications on my Smashboards account, and I knew something had gone either very, very well.
Yep.
Or very
poorly. Yeah.
Other highly performing ballot characters like Krom
I'm
and
actually
Lloyd
upset.
Irving were given costumes in the same pack as K. Rool.
That's bullshit.
On December 15th, 2015, Bayonetta was announced as the winner of the ballot out of all realizable characters.
It was confusing, and I didn't want to entirely give up hope, but for whatever reasons, they didn't want
whatever.
to use him. Maybe it's just because they don't see a future for him in the Donkey Kong franchise at all.
You know, when this stuff happens, like, and I'm actually part of the community, I'm like, you know what, I'll just literally, like, isolate myself for a while and not give a fuck about anything until actually something comes up that I care about. It's bullshit.
And so they see no point in bringing him back.
I hate that. That's annoying.
Slammed on K. Rool. We knew what sort of effort we had put in. And
yeah, you guys were. Oh my god, man! You guys were literally like, super dedicated to it, man.
That it had been listened to. That there was a decision against putting K. Rool in.
The Kremlings would go silent again.
No.
This time, fans still held out hope.
Yeah.
I mean, thought the world was coming to an end, but once I had time to recoup and collect my thoughts, it felt like a acknowledgement that, well, we can't include K. Rool as DLC, but yeah,
I suppose
we know he's popular, we want him back. They also brought back some of his characteristics from the Rare era as well. Like, they gave him his golden belly back, because I don't think...
I just don't like the fact that, like, the guy hasn't been here for years. A decade, bro! And he's still not here!
Anybody at Nintendo even realized when they redesigned
Man.
it was supposed to be golden belly armor and not an actual belly, so...
Years would continue to pass, the most acknowledgement the big man receiving being a street sign named after him in the New Donk City area of Super Mario Odyssey. And as a new Nintendo console released, a new Super Smash Bros. Game appeared on the horizon.
This? Yes.
This would be the ultimate Smash Bros. Containing every single previous fighter in the series' history, and new roster slots would be incredibly limited.
Right before Ultimate's first reveal trailer, there were a lot of these quote-unquote insiders teasing Ridley. And I was like, wait a minute, okay, Ridley's in the game.
Now, we've been told that
who the fuck is Ridley?
Ridley was too big. And we were told after that Ridley was specifically popular in the West. And I'm like, oh?
What
Oh! Oh!
Popular in
Oh!
I'm like,
Ho 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 ho! You're raising some exclamation points.
oh? Oh?
What on earth is stopping K. Rool?
Yes, exactly, exactly. You added him, and he's too big, and he's too, he's too beloved. King K. Rool, please, bro. Oh my god. Oh my
Nothing
god.
that anybody could credibly put in his path, as it were, other than he is not in any quote-unquote new and relevant games. He cannot be used to market new and relevant games.
Before a Nintendo Direct on August 8th, 2018, the song Bloody Tears was leaked on the Super Smash Bros. Website.
No way.
All kind of just accepted that Simon Belmont was going to be the big reveal. But then
Sure.
they revealed him first. Things started to get more
Oh!
interesting. There was a shot where Diddy and DK were standing on a battlefield, and there's like a gap in between them, and it looks like something's going to come down from the sky.
Please?
A lot of people were freaking out, thinking that K. Rool was going to come down and it was going to DK.
No, come on. I hate it. We've been getting teased for the past. Oh my
From
god.
him as an assist trophy. But then we just got the banana gun instead.
Dead silent in there, and the first post when that banana is shown as an item is that scared the shit out of me. It wasn't until the very end when the shaking, I was like, I didn't know
Hey.
what range of characters could have elicited that. I certainly know King K. Rool could be one of them.
Splash cuts of heroes
No way. No way. No way. No way.
facing their greatest rivals appeared on the screen.
Please?
Wait a minute.
Please?
Wait a minute.
Please?
Are they really gonna...
And then Donkey Kong's big yawning mouth shows up, and then the water.
Please! Please! I need this! I need this! I need this.
Start, because I know what I'm about to see.
I know! Please! No, I'm actually sharing their hype. Oh my god, I need this, bro.
Everyone was in a state.
Mind you, because I know, I'm empathizing with these people who have been like waiting for this for so long, bro. Like imagine waiting several years and you're always getting these hints, and then you get a fucking costume and you're like, okay, fuck. We gotta wait more, right? Even though you have a super dedicated fan base for King K. Rool. But when they started showing this, oh my days, I'm feeling the same hype.
Of not quite letting themselves believe it.
Jaw on the floor.
No way.
My brain just completely went into
Yeah, no, my listen. Dopamine receptors. I'm saying. I keep saying this to you guys, bro. Dopamine receptors.
another level of existence. like my
Oh my god. Yes.
vision blurred.
Yes!
There's no
Yes!
possible way.
What is bro doing here? What are you doing here, bro? Where? I was literally screaming my throat out. Where?
And I just remember Jeff saying, "Oh, you, this, no." We had become so pessimistic that Jeff had actually believed that it was not K. Rool.
Yes!
It was probably the most
Yes! We needed this! Oh my god!
energetic feeling I've ever felt in my entire life.
Yes!
A decade. But not only was King K.
Bro, a decade, listen. A decade! 1/8 of someone's general lifespan! Come on!
Rool back, he was one of the very few newcomers with entirely
Bro, I'm
original
sweating.
movesets to be introduced in the base roster of Super Smash Bros. Ultimate.
Amazing.
Noted
Amazing.
specifically because of his huge amount of fan support.
The
Yes!
fact that they brought in everything from the blunderbuss, complete with him putting on his Captain K. Rool
That's
hat,
so
as if he
cool.
could not use this blunderbuss otherwise.
Without
The
it,
fact
yeah.
that he used his backpack helicopter from
Amazing.
DKC3.
Fucking awesome.
At a time when DKC3 references felt so far-fetched.
Oh, yeah,
We were
so
getting
scarce.
He had his boxing glove. His final smash was the Donkey Kong 64 game over.
Crazy.
Screen, finally paying off, and you see
Oh my
the
god.
destruction of Donkey Kong Island. Everything about K. Rool and Super Smash Bros. Ultimate
Oh
felt
my god.
like it had been what we had wished for so long ago.
So cool.
This is secondary compared to his one central mechanic, a bulging bulletproof belly.
Crazy.
A large swath of K. Rool's attacks, even one of his taunts, have armor specifically
Are you
on the Rotan
serious?
Regent's belly. He's even got a counter and a projectile reflector.
That's insane. Wow, that is a strong underbelly.
With his down special based around it. So much emphasis was placed on his gut, armor,
Yes.
and ability to turn things around. K. Rool didn't just feel powerful, he felt like a playable
Yes.
boss fight. If you
He's back. He's actually back. Oh my god, I can see why you guys are telling me it's a hype video. I'm losing my shit. I'm losing it. Oh my god.
didn't know what's coming and how to handle it, he would overwhelm.
Oh
And even
wow, that was awesome.
if you didn't know what's coming and how to handle it, he would
Bang,
overwhelm.
that's so sick.
And even if you had the knowledge check, if he got you in a bad position, you were in
Yep,
for a
yep.
world of hurt.
The
You don't
way
get whooped.
that his animations get like so stiff, where like the back air is like absolutely terrifying, but the up air is absolutely hilarious. They're really kind of like,
Yeah, yeah.
getting the vibe of K. Rool.
I love it because you're dealing animation wise, right? Let's get back into the analytical perspective, right? Like animation wise, if you're working with a rotund character, he's going to hit hard, right? He's going to hit pretty hard, and since he's rotund, he's gonna have a mix of goofy little bounciness in his animations. And when you're dealing with someone like King K. Rool, you're gonna have both of those like things, both of those aspects of a character you will have to work with.
Air is absolutely
So it's both stiff because you need the power, like bang, super stiff. Part of the animation, you feel the power there, and character shakes a little bit on hit, and then you get the bounciness as well.
They're really kind of like getting the vibe of K. Rool.
Yeah,
He is
yeah.
silly but menacing at the same time.
Yes.
Having his iconic moves mapped to a few specials. It feels natural to Super Smash Brothers and
And it-
referential at the same time.
Yes, it feels almost exactly it literally is. That is King K. Rool,
But it wouldn't be K. Rool if failure wasn't mixed into the brew.
Of
if
course.
you spam his best options, his belly will shatter from taking too much damage,
Oh god.
stunning him in place. Or his crown could be stolen and used in ways unfathomable to his psychological dependency on putting it
No.
back on his head at all times. K. Rool was the full breadth of his character, crushing strengths and predictable weaknesses going hand in hand. And it never once compromised his sense of self or made him less of a blast to play.
The one thing I had always been afraid of if he did get added to Smash is that he would be portrayed as some kind of monstrous animal, a brute who just kind of like bit people.
No, he's a bit more like a madman. Less like a brute. More madmanish.
and scratched at them with his claws and stuff. But no, obviously he had technology.
Yes,
and
yes,
even
yes,
he didn't,
yes, yes.
Talk. You can just tell in his expressions. He's got a lot going on in that brain of his. He was very much like alive. He was recognizable
Yes,
to me. He
awesome.
was the character that I knew and loved.
He was King K. Rool. That was the main awesome point that's getting me so hype. The feel, the animation, the everything, the things he's doing are referential to the older games. Amazing, bro. It's great. I like this. This
He
is
even
awesome.
added to his characterization, cape torn from years of isolation,
Uh-huh.
dashing on all fours to mimic his rival Donkey Kong, mirroring the big ape's most iconic moves down to the frame data, even adding
Wow.
a rap to his theme song to show DK up on the mic. The king was a mix of menace and cartoonishness, that made him stand out even amongst as massive of a cast as Ultimate.
Yeah.
And his fans in-game would chant not his name, but the force that had brought him into it.
Kremling crew! That's so cool!
In every way.
This is awesome, bro! Oh my god, I love this video! I can't. The other people, like, what is it as well? The other people, like the video essayists and the Kremling crew people, some of them being interviewed and putting their 2 cents in as well occasionally, is always really cool, man. It's cool when you have like actual people from, you know, the fan base, the direct fan base of whatever you're covering, you know, part of the video. It's, oh my, wow!
K. Rool was made to be the most he'd ever been.
Yeah, he really is.
Unhinged, cartoonish, vicious, and villainous. And fans, not just of the character, but of Smash as a whole, reacted in turn.
This is amazing.
That was the most viewed trailer of all the newcomers in the
Wow! Holy shit, 7.3 mil.
game by like a mile. They're not even allowed
Yeah,
to sit
yeah.
at the same lunch table as K. Rool. Even if you look at the DLC fighters, there is only 2 characters that had more popular trailers than him, being Banjo and Steve. That's pretty
Fair,
crazy
okay,
company.
fair.
In Smash, the best thing is sort of how he improves with every subsequent developer who touches him, who cares.
Yeah.
Nobody thought about the idea of giving him a belly counter. Nobody thought about him running all fours Radigan style just to show how deranged he has become. We don't need to have Nintendo sanction him as a marketable, new and relevant character in a Donkey Kong game before he can appear as a gaming all-star. He already was a gaming all-star.
K. Rool was
he
popular,
really was.
so he was put in Smash. He wasn't put in Smash to become popular. It finally gave him the chance to like express
That's
that
true.
sense of, like,
That's true. And yeah, the fan base did it by themselves, bro, because he was popular. He didn't appear for like a decade, bro. Any character that did not have some sort of random, almost cult, well, not cult-like, not to discredit the Kremlin crew, right? But any character that does not have a dedicated fan base, like after a decade, they'd be gone from the memories of people. Right? Sure, they'd be a character that will be referenced in, like, let's say videos like this that discuss the older versions. Sure, yes. But like unlike other characters that might have that happen to them, King K didn't, because he had the dedicated fan base keeping him alive, bro. Oh my god. Dude, my throat hurts. This is so fucking hype. I love this.
character.
Nintendo just didn't know. I didn't know. I was one of his biggest fans, and I didn't know how beloved he was because people, when not given the excuse to say it, and the Smash Ballot gave people that voice, and without it, I don't think Nintendo would know that he was a character worth reviving.
Nintendo
Yeah.
didn't think that he had lasting cultural impact, right? And then to see that validation of like, he does matter to people, and we're actually going to make good on that now. It's a feeling that you don't get from
That's
anywhere
amazing.
else in the games industry.
A letter from K. Rool's fans was sent to game director Masahiro Sakurai
No way.
and his team for bringing the king back.
Let me read this first. On behalf of every Donkey Kong Country fan and King K. Rool supporter around the globe, thank you for listening to us, and thank you for such an amazing game director. Words alone cannot describe how happy we are. Yeah, same. Oh my days. Thanks to this inclusion. I know I'm saying same. It's not like I waited as long as you guys did, but come on. Let me share the joy with you guys. Thanks to this inclusion in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, K Rool will be forever immortalized as a Nintendo All-Star, looking better than we could have ever imagined. This moment is quite literally a dream come true. Yeah, a decade? Come on. Your hard work is an inspiration to everybody working in the video game industry, and to anybody considering joining it. We have no doubt that Ultimate will not only be the best game in Super Smash Bros. Series, but one of the best video games ever made, period. Fucking class.
And actually got a response from Nintendo.
Wow! What the fuck? Dear King K. Rool fans, thank you very much for the thoughtful letter you sent us. Our sincere apologies for the delayed reply. We were flattered to receive it. We also love the fan art that came alongside the letter. It's clear that plenty of care and effort went to both. While Mr. Sakurai is unable to reply directly due to his busy schedule, rest assured that he shares your excitement and love for King K. Rool. He's hard at work making sure the Kremling King is ready to brawl when Super Smash Bros. Ultimate launches on December 7th. What? Wait, hold on, what? December 7th, 2018. In your letter, you mentioned the thousands of King K. Rool fans who were ecstatic to hear about the character's inclusion in Super Smash Bros. What the fuck? Is my mic okay? Hello, hi. Okay, wait. In Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, the sheer passion and love our fans have for our characters means the world to everyone here. We truly can't thank you enough for it. We're excited to show off just what King K. Rool is capable of, as he dukes it out with all the other fantastic fighters that Super Smash Bros. Ultimate has on its massive roster. Dude, oh my god. I'm getting exhausted mid-video because the hype. Oh my god. Dude, listen. This video is breaking me. Oh my god. This video is so amazing.
For the first time in almost 2 decades, everyone was on the same page to celebrate one shining element that made the Donkey Kong series so special.
King K. Rool!
Oh yeah.
And then they didn't do anything with him.
Are you serious?
After working on Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, Retro Studios moved on to develop a new property, leaving Donkey Kong without a dedicated dev yet again. They did release an enhanced Switch version of Tropical Freeze, and did reportedly consider adding King K. Rool as a secret additional boss.
Now y'all want to consider it, bro. Come on. Will he switch up there? Whatever, bro. Oh my god.
But Nintendo declined the pitch, wanting to save the King's return for Smash Bros.
Sure, fair.
After this highest high, Donkey Kong fell into a deep slumber as a brand, even less coming out in this era than after the rare buyout.
There were easier times and there were harder times. It was helpful to know from DK Vine's reporting that we had things to look forward to, that there were Donkey Kong fans within Nintendo of Japan who were going to make sure this series was in careful hands. And when this game drops, it is going to be beyond our wildest imaginations.
But fans had a spark lit under them. King K. Rool was worth celebrating. And if Nintendo wasn't gonna do it,
the fans
they'd tell the tale themselves.
Spare me an ale, and I'll tell you the story.
This is an whoa, hold on. Who is singing? Who is blessing my ears right now? This is an unofficial, not-for-profit project made by fans. It is not endorsed or approved by Nintendo. Donkey Kong Country and all characters, trademarks, logos belong to Nintendo. All rights reserved. Please support their official release. This is funny! Bootleg Dub Productions presents Brother. Oh my god. Who is Brother?
The king sadly failed. It seems
Return to Crocodile Isle. Oh my days.
ambitions weren't quite up to scale.
Fan made, by the way. Oh my god. Oh my god. Dude, you cannot make me hype enough times in one video. Holy fuck, I'm getting exhausted, bro. All this shit is so cool.
How did the idea of Return to Crocodile Isle
Co-producer plus slash voice actor. So cool, man.
It kind of all started with Martin and I's shared appreciation for the voice of Benedict Campbell.
Stuart and I met like a long time ago, like early 2010s. We were kind of residing in these familiar online spaces trying to get into voice acting, but through that...
Oh, that's cool. I mean, I've also always wanted to voice act. I just never knew where to start. Like, what the fuck? Like, you know, I don't, I don't know where. But, you know, it would be fun. The main thing I like about voice acting and what it's about is that, like, obviously I don't have any fucking experience, no shit. But, like, what I like about it is that you're breathing life. You, yourself, are breathing life into this vessel, this character, whoever you're playing, right? And what they're supposed to be, you're either supposed to fit the voice or, well, make it your own, right? Let's say a character's fresh and new, and you're the voice actor stepping up to give him a voice. Yeah, yeah, you're breathing life into this character, bro. You're breathing character into the character, if that makes sense. If you get that, if you deep it. But yeah, it's always so cool. That's why I've always wanted to like, do it. I just never knew like where to start.
Kind of found an incredible friendship in our passion for animation and gaming, especially
Cool.
like the levels of storytelling that they would have. Back during the pandemic, I was doing a smaller project with Stuart and some others, kind of celebrating F-Zero's 30th anniversary. I think I kind of discovered my dream on wanting to become an animation producer. Stuart and I talked a lot about what we wanted to do next, and decided our next stage was to do an original animation. With how much K. Rool really meant to Stuart and myself,
Yeah.
I really wanted us to spearhead something that impacted both of us and give something really unexpected.
One night, Martin and I are discussing the DKC animated series and how it was held in a relatively negative light recently due to early use of motion capture, and that it was kind of a real shame that folks in the court of public opinion didn't really appreciate the solid vocal performances from a lot of the cast.
Why?
I mentioned to Martin that I'd stumbled upon a means to contact Benedict. Something inside me decided to go ahead and give it a shot and see if I got a bite.
No
So
way.
3 months pass and not so much as a nibble.
Of
and
course.
then out of the blue, we land this Marlin, and it's taken us for a Nantucket sleigh ride.
No way.
You've got the looks, the voice, the style! And let's not forget, I'm green.
And we were going through
Of everything they could focus on, I'm green.
like different references and animators, and at one point went through the entries of the DKC Reanimated project and saw his
Oh,
contribution.
cool.
All right, here goes. Lunkhead.
Yeah, no, Martin reached out to me and like I just saw the email, like the idea, because you had Benedict Campbell on board to work with in the project. I'm like, this sounds like a super fun project. Like, I definitely have to be a part of this.
Our initial pitch was intending it to be like a parody of You'll Be Back from the musical Hamilton. And I am so glad to this day Alex pushed us against the idea.
He had suggested elevating things from more or less a mere cover of an existing song to a full-fledged original musical number. And once things fell more or less in place with Benedict, Martin and I began nudging some of the other legacy talent to see if there was any interest. And
Yeah.
And it just kind of kept snowballing from there until we reached critical mass with a capital K.
Nah, this is awesome. I love this. When people come together and like make this cool, big project, big awesome, big cool project,
Getting
man.
the ball rolling, getting
Come
stuff
on.
written, getting prepared for voice acting, like getting the story fleshed out. And
Yeah.
I remember we kind of ran into this little snag, like getting the actors, getting the unions to kind of go along with this was a lot more complicated than we had anticipated. And I started thinking like, okay, I want a video for my YouTube channel. Because at that point, like I had done a lot of like the assets for the video.
Yeah,
You
okay.
guys had introduced
Sure.
me to Ailstorm.
It was kind of perfect timing when we were thinking about how to go about making it, and Ailstorm's album Curse of the Crystal Coconut featured the cover of Scurvy's Pirate Scorn track.
The day you mess with Scurvy, you wish you'll never more.
And
Oh
the
my
idea
God.
just kind of started formulating in my head, like, I could do a music video for this song.
Referencing not just the cartoon, but Donkey Kong Country 2, Donkey Kong 64, and even the fandom Smash
Amazing.
Brothers speculation, Captain Scurvy's glorious conquest of Congo Bongo Island was animated with a passion for and attention to Donkey Kong's world that hadn't been seen in decades.
It was a
Fuck
fun video to
yes.
make, and it's led to a lot of opportunities. Like, I now pretty much work for Ailstorm officially now, which has been a lot of fun. The Pirate Scorn video, like, it was a good, like, testing ground for Crocodile Isle to kind of see what was working, what wasn't, what changes I needed to make for the animation style.
Alex also introduced us to the maestro that would be Joshua David Mitchell. He just masterfully created what was our hieroglyphics of leitmotifs and little Frankenstein stitches of instrumental ideas that we used from the games.
I spent a lot of years quietly studying the DKC games, looking at old concept arts, scrapped enemy types, early developer notes, you name it. I'm also an entomologist and a herpetologist.
Damn!
Hands-on with training crocodilians
Okay, bro.
and learning their body language.
Nah, he's actually in it for real. Oh my god, he's actually in it for real.
In the past, so this was kind of my contribution to the project.
Yeah, man, he's actually in it. Oh my god.
A more grounded sense of realism to the world of DKC, while also telling
Sure,
a
yeah.
story that's in keeping with the pre-established lore. What happens
I always appreciate that so
The
much.
schemes have run dry, and his perseverance is at a premium. In a sort of metafictional way, I felt that with the uncertainty of K. Rool's return, it might be interesting to explore a king who had exhausted all traditional means to fulfill his goals, left in a point of stasis, separated from his rival, his people, left with the decision to either wallow in that unfortunate reality or to create a new future for himself through reinventation.
I heard that a higher power determined that he, and by proxy us, were unfit to continue coexisting with our Kong rivals, forcibly removing all contact with them, and thus leading to a
Wow.
If absence sows a hungry heart, are you
No way!
famished without your king? It seems you lot forgot the brand of cruelty that I bring.
Our premise was basically, what if K. Rool did a Disney villain song, which was an art choice that took a lot in both imagery and writing, that peers into the many ramifications K. Rool is appreciated by the fans, especially the mental implications. We studied a lot of different approaches, from Ratigan, Governor Ratcliffe, Judge Frollo.
Again, the fact they're studying like other animations as well from how they did it is peak.
Joe the Fish, there's plenty of others, and somehow made this
Wow,
rock
wow,
opera of many different genres, almost reflective of K. Rool's many split personalities.
And still I fought it like a hero, spite the tragedy and travesty, and now I have returned with life and glory as your majesty, and your disgraceful prattle while I was off secluded with a mutiny. Ha! I'd have you executed!
Ben's vocal performance was the driving force. We really just wanted to build off of that. Like, it was really amazing watching him work. Like, the way he just kind of slipped into the character like it was nothing.
Yeah,
He
it's
ended
so
up in this character
cool.
for years, nailing line after line.
With Benedict's case, he literally drove down from his area almost 2 hours one way to record with us.
I've never seen someone breeze through lines so effortlessly.
Remind me, if I ever were to kill myself, I could scale to the heights of your blind devotion and leap down towards your IQ!
We really wanted to do something incredible for the community and what K. Rool means for us. The main aspect of K. Rool's character that I really wanted to focus on was his psychological profile. He's adapted and improved time and time again, but he is burnt out, either haunted by his mistakes or disguising his previous errors with a new identity each time. And I think it's very relatable for any creative going about their life. He sees his master plans as an art, making him feel any sort of relevance, both personally to him and in the meta sense for the fans.
I did this all for you! Want another funny part? I don't even like bananas! Am I enough for you now? Am I?
To me, K. Rool is failure. K. Rool is a
Sure.
lot of those insecurities we feel fester, that vanity, being imperfect, to still fail even when we want to improve, and really grasp at something to feel special. And I really
Yeah,
love playing this.
that's really good insight on
Those
it.
insecurities we feel fester, that vanity, being imperfect, to still fail even when we want to improve, and really grasp at something to feel special. And I really love putting the psychological spin to K. Rool's character, especially with his warped hallucinations being left up to the viewer's interpretation. I think that in its essence is both what I wanted to focus on in the animation and what really makes K. Rool so special.
Yeah, he's actually fucking top.
It was a monument to a fandom that had the
I momentarily forgot this is a designing for video. The production quality, mate, it's at 900 times percent right now. Did that even make sense? 900 times percent? What? Okay.
lived in this story with this
Holy
villain,
shit,
and the
bro.
vision that they had seen for him brought out in as glorious and extravagant nature as could possibly be mustered. A tour de force of independent animation just to say we love the Donkey Kong world.
It was cool to see how many people that it reached, and like newcomers who weren't familiar with the characters saying like, oh, this was kind of how I got introduced to this franchise. It's been really positive with both like longtime fans and newcomers.
Yeah. It's not even just that. Even if I was generally disinterested in the series, franchise, whatever, right? You can't deny. This is the one thing you can never deny. It's production quality. It's production quality, bro. Like, it's why I always appreciate things that I know, or at the very least, look very hard to make.
such an audience with old generations and new generations alike, some even becoming fans of K. Rool immediately after. When you kind of just put that energy, how much something means to you, actually coming out of the airport in California to attend a Metal Gear convention, and coming out of the exit, there was a woman in her late 20s chain smoking on the side of airport entrance, and she caught wind of the K. Rool shirt, the same one Alex gifted me, and she just kind of yells across, is like, yo, is that K. Rool? And I was like, yeah, man, it totally is. She's like, holy shit, is that K. Rool? I love those
And that's how I met your mother.
Kremlings. Oh my god, did you see the animated short they made on him? So what?
Oh my god! Oh my god! And then he's gonna say he's actually the producer of it.
Wild, man, love that shit. Yo, have you seen it? And I'm like, no.
Dog!
Oh, I haven't. I'll be sure to check it out. Yeah, Gators!
Wait, I'm confused though. Wasn't he the director? What happened? What did he say? No, I haven't. So if he's avoiding social interaction, I suppose I understand.
Be sure to check it out. Yeah, Gators.
That's where the King's story ends.
Still, for now.
Donkey Kong game would emerge. Nintendo EPD's long-rumored Donkey Kong Bonanza, releasing to incredible enthusiasm. But K. Rool did not serve as its main villain. The meddlesome and greedy Void Company would fill that role. But you can clearly see the Crocodile King's influence upon them and the game as a whole. That spirit, that drive, that willingness to get creative, celebrate character and interactions between them, that constant underlying humor and reinvention, that is what Void, Poppy, Grumpy, and Bonanza as a whole decided to so strongly celebrate. Even if K. Rool did not return,
fine.
That heart of the Donkey Kong series was brought back because of him. And they even referenced his wife in 2025!
Damn!
A new era of Donkey Kong games has started. One where fans can be excited to celebrate the series they love. And it all came about from one passionate rally to tell Nintendo what made the series so special.
Yep.
K. Rool changed the entire feel and face of Donkey Kong for the better.
Yeah, man.
United a beleaguered fan base under his Jolly Roger to celebrate what they felt they'd lost, and has a door always open for when he's ready to return once again.
It was never just about bringing back K. Rool. It was about restoring Donkey Kong to the position of prominence that it once held prior to the buyout. I mean, of course, a lot of fans were passionate about K. Rool specifically, but it was never just about K. Rool. K. Rool was kind of like a symbol or a torchbearer for the entire movement.
Honestly, yes.
K. Rool is the golden center that the DK world revolves around. And as a lifelong fan, that's hardly a rotten deal.
Yeah.
That, my friends, is how you design for a comeback.
That's so cool. Oh, are these credits? Are these all credits? Okay, it's not. Let it play. Cutlass Henderson. Kirby Tom. Nah, this is cool. Commander King K. Rool. The end? I don't think so. Oh my god.
You're the ones who released me.
What's this now? The belly slap. Wait, he's actually there!
Back in action.
Oh, yes!
After his defeats, K. Rool sought to find a power source from a deeper lost world than even his own. The legendary Bonanza.
Again, King K. Rool, man. Listen. Always with that. Bro, he's always so cunning with it as well. Sure, yeah.
Andium root.
He's pulling an Eggman and finding a power source to empower him. Okay. Pretty smart.
Angelic being capable of granting any wish.
It's a biblically
His
accurate
Kremling
banana.
crew tore through the planet beyond wonders and layers not seen in centuries until they finally found a sinkhole to the planet's core. However, the Root could sense the horrendous evil within K. Rool's heart, and trying to stave off calamity, trapped him atop the sinkhole. K. Rool's insidiousness was so great, the Root used all of its power, focused entirely on keeping him at bay, with his loyal crew lurking below.
We've been stuck down here for ages. The memory of that day still sends a shiver through me cold-blooded bones. We didn't hesitate when ordered to jump down that final sinkhole. Problem was, King K. Rool was seized behind us by the Benandium Root, and in its grip, he plugged the hole.
No.
I'm afeard me. Terrible afeard of what punishments are in store for us when the dread King K. Rool is free once again.
This is where K. Rool lay after Donkey Kong 64, or Jungle Climber if you'd like to count anything with a plot.
Sure.
Donkey Kong enjoyed a peaceful life for years, only occasionally being interrupted by invaders and natural forces, while the world literally revolved around his villain.
Crazy.
Over time, the Root began to lose the battle against the determined despot.
Uh-oh.
Brambles began emerging from the underworld.
Uh-oh.
Cranky Kong noticed the signs of the old Banana Bandit's return and made his own expedition into the planet. A vision of the supposed Root appeared so clearly in the scheming entrepreneur Void Kong's mind, he didn't even realize he was looking at the literal belly of the beast as he tore the planet open to get it.
And I took one look at that, and I think while I knew
That's
what
a belly.
it was, there was a little voice in the back of my head telling me, temper your expectations. Temper your expectations.
Yes. Because time and time again, you Law and I as well have been disappointed throughout the video and I'm glad designing for it, structuring it this way, right? Because you have to, the first few times now you gotta temper your excitement because like several times we've been disappointed, and I'm glad designing for is adding the disappointments because you get to feel a fraction of what they felt because of us for them it's much bigger because they've spent the time waiting, right?
Now.
That's the kind of almost fan fiction that we thought we weren't worthy of. Again, I don't think any other fan of any other series can possibly understand how ludicrous it is to be sitting here and saying, oh yeah, the moment when Donkey Kong's main villain showed up at the end of the Donkey Kong game, what a moment.
K. Rool
My
was gone
God.
and forgotten, but he never stopped fighting. And when his seal finally breaks, he'll make your reunion one to remember.
There he
Throughout the
is.
Bonanza, Donkey Kong would find skeletal enemies trapped within stone, reanimated through Banandium to fight once again.
Wow.
Underneath the gaze of the Kremling king, his loyal crew shows their true colors, scale and blood, and complete with the same sound effects they had in their original invasion.
I think I felt everything at the same time.
To see them be built up right from the first level of the game in the Ingot Isle cave-in with the one Croconoid. That builds toward the end of the game in a way that doesn't feel like a rug pull. They just feel like real foreshadowed events that will happen in a complex world with characters who have their own things going on that your story is in the center of.
The Kremling crew, after all this time, remains the mightiest force that Donkey Kong has battled. And even as he breaks through their lines, quagmires, coliseums, and more, K. Rool awaits his nemesis at the absolute core of the planet. Surrounded by a literal heart of gold, veins protruding from it as much as his own eye, K. Rool corrupts the weakened planet's soul, making his wish to become all he believed himself to always be. A resplendent, golden god of a leader who would turn the entire world into putrid, rotten mush for him to devour. And for his first act as the one above all,
Holy shit.
defeating his nemesis would be a lovely appetizer before the feast to come.
Oh my god.
King K.
He's empowered
Rool's
as well.
first boss fight in decades
Holy shit.
is an absolutely indulgent one. The Banandium root has allowed him to craft whatever golden weaponry his
Holy
cruel
shit.
heart desires. And for his first order of business,
Armor piercer!
not only does
Yes.
K. Rool have a nostalgic cannon to shoot at
Oh,
you,
yeah.
he can transform it into the second most screwed up blunderbuss you'll ever
That's
see.
crazy.
Each of his shots leave a trail of rotten Banandium mush, a substance somehow more corrosive than pure acid or even
Ow.
lava, limiting DK's options in the arena so he can line up a perfect, unavoidable strike. He can even
Fuck.
manipulate this rot, summoning forth
Oh my
massive
God.
claws to predict DK's position and collapse on top of him, leaving goopy remains in their wake. And he's even got a big suck move to clean both you and things up in a hurry. However, K. Rool's most fearsome attribute for this battle isn't anything he
Holy
does, but
shit.
merely what he is. Donkey Kong has proven to be an absolute powerhouse.
Yes.
Able to shred bosses' health bars in seconds flat. Try to smack around K. Rool, though?
Donkey Kong is incredibly strong. He is stronger than any threat that he's had to overcome up to this point, just on his own. But
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Rool requires like 5 of him, and that kind of message that's sold through that gameplay just elevates him beyond like a Bowser who Mario can
Yes,
always
yes.
beat on his own.
K. Rool
It's amazing.
invites you to make as many mistakes as you want, to slowly watch your foothold vanish until there's nothing left. But, like always, no matter how strong K. Rool becomes, teamwork can utterly ruin the man's life. And unfortunately,
boy.
the croc neglected to shoot the small child DK was carrying around with
Of
him.
course.
Pauline's singing allows Donkey Kong to transform into various bonanza modes, granting the leader of the bunch incredible new abilities.
Holy.
Normally these powers would be limited by Donkey Kong's Bananergy, but what is this golden heart if not an endless font of Bananergy? Donkey Kong and Pauline can swap up their songs on the fly, transforming to their heart's content. And the more the player is willing to experiment, the less effective all of
Oh,
K. Rool's
boy.
tools become. The player is inspired and encouraged to string together bonanzas in a free-form jam
That's
session.
insane.
And
That's
whatever their
cool.
strategy for K. Rool, it'll emerge from the incredible arsenal of tools they have at their disposal that was just made unbreakable. You can even jam up K. Rool's gun just like the old days.
No way. Oh
No
my
matter how
god.
powerful K. Rool has become, the bond of the friends and members of the Kong family will always be that much stronger, with the real power of Banandium beating the fool's gold off the Crocodile King.
Oh yes.
That's interesting. They really didn't make his fight too hard. I feel like his fight is always really hard. And this should have tipped me off.
It's him taking on a bonanza form, but just kind of feels like trying to take on the powers of the enemy in a way that doesn't really let him express who he is. And it doesn't really kind of sit entirely right on him, just these
Fair.
fresh bananas all over him.
These-
That's the
yeah.
nice thing.
Yeah, yeah.
The Banandium
And-
root from K.
And the thing is with him, we've been told, and we know, he doesn't even like bananas. Like, come on.
Rool's claws, Donkey Kong and Pauline make their wish. More bananas than could possibly be imagined, and a ride back to Pauline's home. The Banandium root adapts this as cleverly as possible, and
Donkey Kong Bonanza.
seems like the team were Donkey Kong Country fans after all. As once more the ship draws close, its captain once again writes his own ending.
Of course. Of course. Yeah!
Strapping a brand new copter pack resembling
He's back already? Oh my...
chaos on his back, K. Rool puts up one final struggle.
Nah,
to
this is
leave
crazy.
His foe buried in a lost world. The fight is ultimately simple, amounting to simply throwing bananas at the big crocodile, but he is going to make every single second of this encounter count. As the Banandium Tower reaches higher and higher, the blaring horns and guitar of Gangplank Galleon crescendo, growing more intense,
Nah, this is crazy.
changing in key as more tones are brought in. A counter melody of Big Boss Blues from DKC3 kicks in midway through, as K. Rool becomes more and more reliant on technology, using Void Kong's stolen remote to try and terraform the tower to send you tumbling away from terra firma. Before finally climaxing as K. Rool returns from Donkey Kong Country 2 blares out as you rapidly approach the surface. It is a musical
Oh my God.
celebration of everything K. Rool has been
Yes.
in the video game boss. A testament to his undying tenacity.
It kind of goes back to that like perfect mix he has of being intimidating but also being comedic. He does this like little stupid punch thing in the air, like he's hyping himself up. It's like he's doing his DK64 animation.
Yeah.
Really in this sense to like get himself ready for diving in there and trying to catch us.
And when a few too many explosive blows to the head knock him silly, K. Rool realizes, perhaps for this one moment, he'll let the Kongs go, and blasts past the ape to emerge
Whoa.
first in...
What the fuck?
8 years ago, this was the same place
Yes!
that gave the first signs that Nintendo EPD even remembered who K. Rool was. And in a town named for his nemesis in some way or another, K. Rool would see his finest,
yes.
most definitive coronation. It's not him who needs to
Oh
grow
my God, it's become Batman and Joker.
greater. It's that the world around him just isn't spoiled enough.
What if we took our really well-reviewed Mario game and destroyed it in King K. Rool's image? Like that's good stuff.
That's, yes,
really,
that's
nice.
good. That's the fucking shit King K's about. Yeah.
Towering golden monument to the king
Of
of the
course,
Kremlings,
yeah.
the only thing to emerge from the swamps.
Oh shit. My audio?
And in seconds,
My audio?
reveals
Okay.
the final stage for his ultimate confrontation.
Uh-oh.
Dozens of signs, effigies, screens, and posters
King
proclaiming
Cruel is back.
one thing to his world.
Fuck yes.
His Kremlings, his fans inside and out. King K. Rool is
Back.
His critters are celebrating as he laughs. Massive, rotten beasts with K. Rool's face emerging from the primordial putrefaction to devour all they can. Flipping the script on a game all about digging deeper into the planet, K. Rool challenges you to keep climbing, cowardly Kong. The ocean of Banandium rising, promising instant death if Donkey Kong can't prove how high he can get.
Holy.
Meter by 100 meters. This is K. Rool at the height of his power and indulgence. Celebrating, tossing everything his forces can muster at
Yes.
you, and mocking you. Right down to the music. Donkey Kong's most peaceful and serene tune, Aquatic Ambiance,
Yeah.
is mixed in as an intense rock version before a hopeful big band refrain of Pauline and New Donk City itself. Jump Up Superstar cries out to support it.
Your eternal commander. Wow. So awesome, bro.
You ascend from the Earth's core and you bring back a demon to destroy the world. There is no redeeming element to K. Rool.
Yep.
There's no softening
No.
of the edges. He is just evil. And
Yeah.
he would rather watch the world burn down in his image than having a nice little corner of it to call his own.
But deep inside, he knows it's not enough. He's prepared one final showdown for you.
Oh,
Octagons
yes.
are a bit more popular than boxing rings nowadays.
Sure.
All
Yeah.
of the drama of the decades that preceded this game and advocating for this series, this is when I realized everything is back at long last.
Yes.
I no longer fear for the future of this series.
I feel like they were trying to tell us, like, yeah, this is a new era of Donkey Kong, but we see you. We're gonna honor those roots and those things that you guys fell in love with all those years ago.
Underneath the spotlights, atop an airship, surrounded by his cheering crew, in the middle of a ring branded just the same as it was 2.5
Amazing.
decades before, K. Rool removes his crown.
We have just spent an entire climb up of New Donk City, seeing posters and neon signs and propaganda essentially about K. Rool being a king. Oh my
Yes,
god,
yes, yes, he's
so
a king,
powerful.
yeah.
His name is King K. Rool. Did you know he's a king? So if he's
Did you know
so
he's a
proud
king?
of being the king, and if that's so important to him, why would he
Drop the
intentionally
crown.
take it off? He's
Yeah,
literally
yeah, yeah.
removing the symbol of his own regality and his own power. He has realized that he has everything he needs. His tenacity, it's his extreme willingness to never give up.
Yeah,
his
and
commitment
to
to never letting go
to
of
go the
this
length.
quest for revenge.
He failed to defeat you as the resplendent golden idol he wanted to be. He failed to defeat you as king of the Kremlings. Every step of the way, you dress him down and make him his worst. So he'll embrace it.
Oh
One
boy!
thing that you can never take from him. One thing impossible to usurp. Not a single soul is more putrid and rotten than he is. When it comes to rot!
Oh yeah! Holy shit! King of Rock.
K. Rool, Blade of Mikola.
Embracing his every failure and
King K. Rool, Blade of Mikola.
embracing his
Nicola.
every failure and turning it into his power. K. Rool starts his second fight right where he left off.
That's amazing.
While in your prior encounter, the Banandium Mush was merely an after effect of K. Rool's projectiles, the King of Rot focuses on and revels in just how much gunk he can spread
Ugh.
to worsen your day.
Nintendo loves to do this like yin and yang thing where like if the gimmick is that Mario is a cat, then Bowser shall become a cat. And so for K. Rool to have his own little version of the Bonanza transformation,
Yeah.
I expected him to be turning into different animals, but instead we got this just like absolutely eldritch abomination.
Yes.
And just disgusting.
And I mean, yeah, we've seen it from the start. He's talked about, you need to spoil everything. I need everything to rot. Like, you know, you have this, like, kind of mad god kind of guy. Well, like, especially now, King of Rot, right? It's combined with the Bonanzium, whatever, core. But yeah. It's been here for a long time. I need everything to rot. I need this spoiled. I need this toxic waste, whatever. Gunk, putrid, sewer bullshit. And yeah, that's been his whole thing. So for him to transform into this, I'm really not surprised. He doesn't even like bananas, he says. And it's pretty true.
He just spread his goop all over you.
But knocking him loopy a few times is enough to get the hedonistic heavy to really take control, vanishing as he unleashes a barrage of bombs that rot not only the arena, but the Switch too from the inside out. K. Rool
Oh my God.
ruins the frame rate as the entire arena transforms into a quagmire of rot, leaving DK only able to desperately knock around his bombs in hopes of creating a small enough foothold to survive. Like a pig in mud, K. Rool swims through his own rotten swamp, assaulting Donkey Kong by popping out wherever possible, delighting in the disgusting creature of absolute ruinous power he is.
He looks like he is a little kid playing around in the mud.
Yeah.
Just relishing in this time of completely letting himself go.
K. Rool always showed himself as an industrialist, but he did it in the interest of being a dictator first. Like, that was the main thing that he was.
Yes.
Now he's just ruling by creating a supremacy of himself over life itself.
Yeah.
At the heart of K. Rool's soul, what's at his own crocodile core, and why he continually fails, and why everything continually gets worse for the Kremlings. It is pure death. He brings death to everything he touches.
Rot, spoil.
You finally see him for what he is.
Yep.
And it's everything that Donkey Kong, Diddy Kong, Dixie Kong, in this case Pauline, it's everything they stand in opposition to.
Yeah.
Life forms, if they rot away, will provide K. Rool a way to feel superior. Not as a side effect of trying to rule people, but now the ruling people is a side effect of the fact that he is rot incarnate. He doesn't have a point.
Wow.
He just has a drive.
And he does not relent. DK and Pauline need to utilize all of their bonanzas even more rapidly to simply match K. Rool's pace. He's not daring to give you an opening. Using all of your power, Donkey Kong has to make his own. Knocking bombs away creates gold that the elephant can store in his trunk to knock K. Rool out of his suction and claw spamming phases, as well as turn all of the fool's gold K. Rool generates into the genuine article. For everything that K. Rool can ruin, Donkey Kong can bring back with his own spirit, his own...
Yes!
But even as he's reeling, his own muck transformed into a golden prison, K. Rool resists to the last, tossing out walls of gold to slow you, desperate to cling to his victory and never say die. As he grows weaker, K. Rool changes his bullet patterns up. First a bouncing shot to create even taller Bonandium trails, and then knuckleball-like spiraling patterns. This is the most powerful, most uncompromising, most overwhelming K. Rool has ever been. A war of attrition, only won by wearing down his patience and not daring to surrender. K. Rool doesn't lose this final battle in humiliation. He is so far beyond understanding why to be humiliated. You win through sheer power, endurance, and love greater than any ruin he can form.
Fuck yes.
But now, with absolute certainty, we can say that he'll be back again.
Probably.
The story of
Somewhere.
King K. Rool is one of absolute, undying perseverance. A villain from a cancelled game who was named in 5 minutes after a pun and was barely expected to last that one game, who gained fans within his team and the community through his personality and determination.
Concept-wise, as a character, he was super scrappy, bro. Really wasn't like put together that well, but the fact that he made it through and somehow had these fans actually support the guy. Oh my god, isn't that crazy?
This pushed him to future teams, heightening his stakes, his consequences, his absurdity between games and shows and languages and cultures, until that self-destructive tenacity became emblematic of him. When the gaming community at large turned its back on the series, he became a symbol of all that series represented. A beacon that brought a lost and assailed community together. When the series went in a new direction, he was the rallying point for so many to come together and not just beckon his return, but spread a positivity and appreciation toward Donkey Kong that had long since thought to be taboo.
Oh yeah.
And when he returned, it was in the most glorious spectacle
It was
possible.
fucking awesome,
a final
bro.
showdown so ridiculously grand that the
Yeah.
guy who steals the bananas in Donkey Kong comes back to steal the biggest banana. Became
Basically.
a spoiler. K. Rool is the tale of an insatiable glutton, a man incapable of moving on from failure, needing to find more and more incredible heights to fall from, and putrefying the world and people around him in his vain attempts to achieve satisfaction.
Wow,
But
man.
beyond that, the king has an incredible tale. One where his horrid exploits and boundless charisma inspired fans to change the entire marketing direction of an IP owned by a major corporation because he's the guy they wanted to celebrate. It's an almost entirely unique story in the world of video games at this scale.
Yeah.
And it means something.
Of course,
Proper King K. Rool is comprised of 3 main ingredients. 1 shot of razor-sharp wit, 2 cups of narcissism, and garnished with disproportionately, mind you, with seemingly bottomless tenacity.
Yep.
It's a complete mess and it stains my countertops.
he is sort of just the ideal villain to me, but he has this capacity for reinvention. He never gives up. He has no shame about any part of him.
Why do so many people the world over care about the stupid crocodile with the pun name? And it's because there are so many aspects of him to appreciate, but it's also what he represents. And for a lot of people, myself included, the memories that came along the way over the 15 plus journey to get him back in his own franchise. We went from posting to Twitter #BringBackKRool to seeing on
man, especially from Thomas, who I'm assuming, right, is the original campaigner of, well, the Kremlin campaign, and where they're like, oh, bring King K. Rool back, and like, dude, it must have been difficult, because sorry, there's thunder outside. For King K. Rool to come back, you had to basically match King K. Rool's tenacity. Like 15 years, that's really long, bro. That's a really long time. 15 years is what? Almost what? I don't know. That's like 1/4 of like 60 years, man. That's insane.
Words in the finale of a mainline EPD Donkey Kong game.
Yeah, it's incredible, bro.
I don't know how to put that feeling into words. He
Fair.
becomes the representation of so much more than he is.
It goes beyond just gaming history or validation from a company. K. Rool's return was deeply personal. It created a spark that brought together a community of Donkey Kong fans from around the world. Artists, writers, collectors, lifelong gamers who all carry that same love for K. Rool and the franchise that he helped define. He's the reason I'm part of something bigger than myself. I wouldn't trade that experience for anything.
I love this character for all that he is and all that he means. K. Rool didn't just come back for a quick nostalgic pop. He became an even greater form than any wild dream from any fan could capture. From stealing a horde of bananas he hated to the last word on him in his latest appearance being that he loves bananas just as much as Donkey Kong.
Oh!
As long as they're mushy and rotten.
Oh!
K. Rool is proof of what a passionate fan base can do.
Yeah,
beyond
it's incredible,
simply
dude.
Looking back to better times. And what we can create when we share the things we love with others. It's not an easy road.
Of course.
It can take decades. There's plenty of harsh and, frankly, needless criticism. Sometimes it'll come back in ways you didn't really want.
Wait, let me see the criticism. I haven't seen a lot of that.
It can take decades. There's plenty of harsh and, frankly, needless criticism.
What the fuck? K. Rool is one of the worst ideas I've heard for a character ever. In my humble opinion, of course. I'm giving you a side eye, by the way, if you can't tell. So I've made this thread as a sort of challenge to see if anyone can persuade me and other anti-K. Rools into thinking he belongs. And to diabolically beat the actual K. Rool fans to making a support thread. Now, if they want to talk about K. Rool, they've gotta come to my turf. What? Bro, this is crazy. He's saying, in my humble opinion, and then he's talking about, if they gotta come to my turf. Well, like some sort of gang war or some shit. What's wrong with K. Rool, you might ask? Okay, here's his actual point. Well, of course, he's far too bulky and slow. Excuse me? Bulky he may be. Slow? I don't know. He's only 1/5 as alluringly wicked as Bowser, and Bowser was unfortunately one of the lamest fighters in Smash, despite his coolness as a character. What? How can you... This is so weird. How can you like Bowser but not King K. Rool? That's weird, okay. Like, I get... Like, again, first impression-wise, right? You saw me in the beginning of the video. I said, design-wise, he looks kind of ugly to me. Right? When, especially if you show his scales to be, like, super prominent. But yeah. But no, he's a great character, bro. If I were to put K. Rool on a list of all the characters that deserve to be in Smash, he would be second from the bottom, right above Elmo. Also, anyone can tell K. Rool was just Rare's cheap knockoff of Kraid. Well, what was that? I don't know what that is. But with a cape, a crown, and a twitch in his eye. What? What? I would have a good point here, but I'm making a video. I'm not gonna stop here and think. Even if you want K. Rool and Smash, he was put in the final product. I doubt anybody would ever play him. He'd be just a waste of data space that could be taken up by a good character with good characters like Little Mac and Diddy Kong. So if you think you've got what it takes, I'm game. Unsheath your rhetorics, gentlemen. Why does this read like a fucking Redditor, bro? What the fuck? This is so weird. He starts off with, in my humble opinion, of course. But like, it's not even the starting statement was not constructive. King K. Rool is one of the worst ideas I've heard for a character. Not really. There's no... This shit pissing me off. Let's continue. I even read that.
Sometimes it'll come back in ways you didn't really want, and it may seem hopeless. But it's worth it to find those that'll celebrate with you when that time finally comes.
Yeah.
And you'll know that you had some small part in making this moment so special. More than anything else, that is what it means to make a comeback. That is the undying legacy of the dread King K. Rool.
So cool, man. Oh my god. I'm so glad you guys recommended this video. I love you guys so much. This is so sick.
You idiot! You moron! Thanks to you, my greatest failures
Oh wait, are these actually...
for all time!
Okay, never mind.
King
Okay,
K.
okay.
Rool is the most ferocious and animated and
Written, directed, audio edited, produced, interviewed, and narrated by Pyre Hikong / Tommy Ayler. Shoutouts to bro as usual. Fucking amazing work. And here's the thing, right? When I use swear words, I'm not trying to be crass or anything, but I really need to emphasize and add color to my point that, like, this is incredible. Stupendously amazing. Yeah, that's all I got. But you know, it's super cool, man. The production quality, the song choices, the bait and switch to disappoint you just as much as just as much as the fans were disappointed when it was a costume, when it was, maybe King DDD or whatever. But it was. But still, man, oh my god. Is that not crazy? This was such a great video. How many views did it get? It better be a fucking million. Bullshit. 200k. Run it up, bro. It's 7 months ago. No, I refuse. This has to be, bro. The production quality is disproportionate to the views. It's insane. Obviously, videos, YouTube, you get how it is. But like, bro, not barely, almost 300k views only. No, run it up. 100 mil, no, 100 mil is a bit crazy, but I do hope they reach it as well. I need at least 1 million views on this because this is mad. Is this not crazy? Like, I'm still trying to I'm sitting here comprehending it. But let it play, bro.
quick moving, certainly of all of Nintendo's collection of villains. As
additional direction by Exalock, Jaden Gray. Okay, shout out to bro.
And as winningless as he is depicted against Donkey Kong.
Interviewees, yeah, these guys were awesome. I'm super glad they participated in this interview. So Hal Russell, DK Vine, editor in chief, Alter Mentali, artist and Kremling chronologist. Awesome lady, awesome.
Rool is still so comfortable feeling gross.
Mitchell Wolf, game designer, amazing, and Amalia Solaris.
Vile in the best possible way.
Cotrello Kong Compendium and Eric Kremling campaigner. So cool.
K. Rool is my favorite video game antagonist. K. Rool's ethos.
You guys convinced me, bro. You convinced me. Thomas, Kremlin campaigner. Yeah, this is, I'm pretty sure, the main guy. And Alex Henderson animation.
Ethics or lack thereof.
Man.
It's everything that Donkey Kong.
Bootleg Dub Productions, fucking awesome,
honest,
man.
But never to the detriment.
Oh yeah, and Stuart A. Hudson as well. Bootleg Dub Productions.
Donkey Kong, who, despite being a nepo baby, let's be honest, but never
Sure.
to the detriment of the surrounding environment. While K. Rool will use
Tom
every
Slack as Clubber.
opportunity just to tear it all down.
As King K. Rool, Kremling crewmate. Oh my
in
god.
order to bring it down to his emotional level.
Maybe my favorite
Something
villain of all
about
time.
alter mentality. Oh my god. Dude.
I've always liked Bowser too, but like the whole idea that Bowser would get into a wedding costume and he'd be throwing his top hat at you, it's kind of out of K. Rool's playbook. You know, he was
Shout
the
out to all
first
these
wear
people
a
who are
funny hat.
contributing art.
You know, it's kind of interesting to call him my favorite when he's really such a terrible person.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair, but that's the thing. It's an unwritten but kind of a kind of unspoken rule as well in either video games or media, in where if a villain is genuinely pissing you off, right, but is charismatic, they're doing their part as a villain really well, and they're super likable because they're doing their part as a villain very well, you know, you can like them. And it's not like, oh my god, they've killed 50 people. This random human has killed 50 people. I fucking love them. No. Like, okay, sure, if it's like real life, what the fuck, bro? But like, because the main point of a villain is to be terrible, you are horrible. You are a horrible, you know, villainous, well, villain. Yeah, when they do their job well and when they're memorable as a character, it's hard not to like them. Because, well, it's harmless, you know? And well, I don't know. It's something about a character, man, that you can like even if they're a villain. You know?
There have always
There's several cases of that, like Senator Armstrong as well. He's super liked and he's a villain.
been a lot of things about him that I really loved and admired, and he's inspired me a lot for the type of characters I've made and the types of stories
Yeah.
that I want to tell.
Dude just doesn't quit.
Dude just Dude just doesn't quit, yes.
Anytime you knock him down, you can see it in his fights, his schemes. You have to physically remove him from the equation in order to be rid of him for just a short period, and then before you know it, he's right back at it again.
If anyone at Illumination is watching this, please hire me to work on your Donkey Kong movie. Please, I am.
Please, actually, yes! Oh my god, you know, oh my god, you need to get him in there. Nah, he did bits.
So many ideas.
He's my husband. He's
Whoa. What the fuck? When did we go from he's such a cool villain to he's my husband? What the fuck?
kind of a symbol, I think, of gaming from when I was younger. So he's
Fair.
definitely a nostalgic figure, but
Oh,
I
yeah,
still
for sure.
think that even in the modern day, he kicks ass.
Yeah, I agree. Oh my god, that's the end of it? Come on, man. Fuck! This is what I hate about these videos that are so fucking well made. They're so well made, I'm so into them, and then they're boom, bam, my dopamine receptors going crazy. Going ratchet. Oh my god. Going absolutely mad, right? And then I'm super, oh my god, I'm getting hungry, man. I'm actually getting hungry from how much mental energy that's pouring out of me right now. And then you make this cool character, bro. I hope anyone who's with at the end of this video with me, thank you so much, and I'm glad you're still listening to me ranting, bro. This is like 3 hours of footage. But like, oh my god. You know, fuck. What was I saying? Like, what I hate about these videos that are so high in production, so high in quality, and so high in everything, and it's grading so well in whatever, bro, right? Like, every facet. Audio editing, voice acting, collaboration with other creators, artists, whomever may have creative endeavors. Having some people voice act particular characters, and people getting in there and like some voice acting the characters for fun and stuff like that. And then the production quality, and then you have these music creators making this like kind of Disney musical about King K. Rool, and how the production went, as and then how it got popular as well. It blew up, and people's persistence to bring King K. Rool back even after past 10 years. That's a whole decade and a half and some to even get a crumb of this guy, right? And then the fact, oh my god, and then the fact it's so well developed, the structure of the video is so well laid out, music choices, b-roll footage, the editing, and the visual, like the way they visually show, right? And some cool edits where he's like King K. Rool's hand ripping out the paper to transition into a new clip. See that? It's both so creatively fun, and so is what's admirable about it is it's very persistent. The editing is so persistent in terms of quality, right? Here's what I've noticed with myself. When I'm editing one of those long videos, right, and I'm doing it in one sitting, yeah, it almost turns into this like, oh, okay, I gotta do this and do that. And of course, I'm one man, of course, fair. But like, what I noticed is that if I did it in one sitting, I'd slowly lose motivation. I probably abandon the project, and the editing quality, that's my main point, is what degrades over time. But of course, like with my like first ever like video essay, I kind of went well. I kind of like it, but like the production quality has stayed consistent in the whole video, and it's just something I've got to appreciate, and I encourage you lot to appreciate it and take it in for a moment as well, because that type of production does not come easy, especially when you're collaborating with a bunch of people. Okay, you get the clip where you're interviewing this particular person and what they have to say about this clip, and then okay, you gotta put it in, you gotta put in the section where it's appropriate, and you gotta put all this stuff, and then you gotta get people's inputs, the campaigners and their cool fucking movement that lasted like a decade and some, right? A decade and some. I'm exhausted, bro, but fuck, that was such a good video. Did you guys enjoy that? That was so cool. Was it not? That's awesome. Also, I've been yapping for like over an hour or more, like even while watching the video. Oh my god, my throat hurts, bro. Oh wow. Is that not incredible? Like, let's give it a few seconds. Let's take it in for a moment, guys. Oh my god. Holy shit, man. Uh-oh. My computer's storage space is starting to complain. Okay, let's end the video. This has been Ephemeros. Thank you guys so much for watching. I literally just got a notification as of now, right? I'll free up some storage space later, of course. But this has been Ephemeros. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, because I certainly did. I'm completely exhausted from the absolute hype that I just output, man. That was super cool. Please take care of yourselves, and see you in the next video. Yeah, bye. See you guys. Bye.